From the Gettysburg Museum of History. From the Gettysburg Museum of History Studios, high atop Baltimore Street, in a maximum security facility complete with central air, it's AG Today.
Hello, folks. It's Pat Norman.
Hi, this is Jake Busey.
Hi, this is Bruce Boxleitner.
This is Tom from A Gettysburg Christmas.
Hi, this is Bo Brinkman.
And you're listening to Addressing Gettysburg. I'm glad you're listening. Thank you.
There's a devil to pay.
Did you say Abe Lincoln?
Good night, everybody.
Bonfire.
You're listening to
Addressing Gettysburg Today.
I love this podcast.
Oh, exactly.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Oh,
Say what?
I can't hear a lot anymore.
Wait, I can't hear anything.
You can't hear anything?
Can you hear anything?
Yeah,
You can?
I hear everything.
Whoa, easy, Chief.
I don't understand what's going on.
Can you warn us before you do that?
Okay, there we go. Now I hear everything. Oh, my
Are
God.
you sure?
Sorry, I didn't mean to blast you out there, but I was just getting frustrated. It was something with the headphone mixes, but I got it. Okay, so everything can be heard, right?
Yes.
Yes, okay. The monitors are on now. Oh, they are? Yeah. Now they're on.
Turn my volume down.
No, they're
too
just
quick.
fuzz, man.
They're fuzz?
Fuzz, yeah.
Good God in heaven. How about now?
It shows up there.
No.
Okay, I think they're
Oh.
coming through now.
Yeah.
I think they're coming.
How about now? Is that maybe I had them too low?
Yeah.
All I know is that all of a sudden everything that I had set right before we went just stopped working the right way.
For goodness sakes.
Oh, for goodness sakes, indeed.
This is why you don't try new equipment on a live show.
We were in here
Well, that's
testing
the
it all
whole-
day.
Yeah, testing and
Yeah.
testing.
Huh?
It's so weird.
You got to do it. You should have had like a practice interview. You know,
I did. I did interview with Steve Sims this morning.
how'd that go on it?
Very good.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, I only used 2 microphones. We didn't do the whole shebang.
Yeah.
How is Steve?
He's good. He's good. Is I guess getting ready to move on to greener pastures
For him, anyway.
for him. Yes.
I came into his office the other day and I was just like, what's going on? And he's like, what? And I'm like,
It's like,
he's like, can you
just
just
gonna leave
tell
us?
me? And as I went, he apologized more and more as I just kept staring at him.
yeah.
I'm like, I'm really not happy about this, just so you know.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can attribute that to you or the age we live in. You know, now if you get a weird stare from a woman, I feel like you just start automatically apologizing.
Well, no, he knew. He knew what it was about. He knew.
Yeah.
Because he was just like he's like, I know. I'm sorry. Like, it was a really good opportunity and I didn't. I'm like, okay, just keep talking. Dig your hole. It's fine.
Yeah.
It does sound like a great opportunity, though. I can't
It
blame
does.
him.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it'd be hard to leave here because as far as battlefields go, this is the pinnacle, but as far as his career goes,
Oh, yeah.
this
It's a
next
good
It's
move.
step,
far
you
and
know.
away.
Yeah.
Like a bigger park, bigger budget, bigger everything.
And if your personal interest is more aligned with that.
Yeah. He's more of a a colonial nerd.
Right.
Than
Exactly. And he was explaining in the interview today that he wasn't into this stuff. He wasn't really into history until he went to Valley Forge and learned that he had an ancestor who was there.
Mm-hmm.
Not only was he there, but he was like in Washington's bodyguard. Like he was
that's
like
cool.
up
Well,
there. Yeah.
Dude, that's
Yeah.
kind of, I mean, this doesn't directly correlate because I was already into the history stuff before this. And then also, going to war under the United States flag, obviously increased my enthusiasm for that as well.
I would
But
think.
when I found out about Edwin Voss Sumner and, him being a corps commander,
Right.
that greatly increased my interest in the Army of the Potomac. Especially in the earlier time
Yeah, I
of
bet.
the war.
Yeah, I guess that is, like that would be interesting to somebody if
Now, see, I went
they
the
find out.
opposite way. Like Grandpa, I know all of his stories and being in World War II, and I don't want to learn about it.
Why is that?
I don't want to know what
You
he
gotta-
went through.
I
Like-
guess it makes it's too real because
It's harder, yeah.
And I knew him, personally. I just can't imagine him being in that situation.
When you can put
Taylor-
a face and a name to it and hear that voice,
Yeah.
it can be a little more difficult.
Taylor's like that. Taylor doesn't really like hearing about war stuff, like my war stuff.
Now, the Civil War, I'll do it all day long. Talk about that, but
Is it because it's so far removed from anything?
You got a lot of reverb.
Yeah,
on,
that's
like-
because that monitor there. Is it because it's so far removed? Like we're not in the Civil War anymore?
I guess that might be it. I don't know anyone personally. I don't even think I had any family members.
Oh, I'm sure you did somewhere.
You might
Well, I
have.
think most of my family came over after that. I think we're like early 1900s.
Yeah.
Can you turn the music part down?
So the music's
I can't
loud and
hear
you're.
you.
That's
all over
interesting.
the music.
Okay, so we're gonna have to no. Yes, I mean yes, it's down. It's off now, but that must be a mix. So let me just see something here. Bear with us, ladies and
He
gentlemen.
got a new.
I got a new board
mixer board.
He
so
got
we've
a
been
new
playing
toy.
with it.
Yeah,
And the problem with that is he doesn't know how to use it all.
right.
yet.
I'm still. This is my first truly practical usage of it. Let me just do a quick test here. Is it?
From the Gettysburg Museum of History Studios.
Right about
There.
there.
Is that good?
Baltimore Street.
Yeah.
In
Okay.
a maximum security facility.
No, but
complete
it would be different for you, Colby. I was just doing it in her individual headphone there. I was mixing it.
In the
So wait,
Bethany.
okay. So Debbie and Colby, just take your headphones off for a second, just in case. Okay. All right. There we go. And how's this?
From the Gettysburg Museum of
That's
History
too
Studios.
loud. Okay.
High atop
How
Baltimore
about?
Street. In a
All right,
maximum
you know what? We'll figure it out some other time. All right. So. Marie asked in here, will we be addressing the Saberhood issue?
just
Yes,
saw
that is
that.
part of the news. That will be in the news. So we will address that during the news segment with the great Bethany Yingling, crack gumshoe, and crack
We need a
smoker.
magnifying glass.
Yes.
Oh, and the deer killer hat.
I didn't mean gumshoe. What's the word for
But I really
reporter?
wanted
the
to be a
deer killer
gumshoe
hat.
now.
Or
Gum-
deer hat, whatever that is. The Sherlock Holmes hat.
The deer hunter hat?
The deer
Isn't it a
stalker.
deer
It's called
stalker?
Deer
Deer
stalker.
stalker. I said it wrong. See,
Yeah.
I was on the right
Deer-
track though.
deer
Okay, come
killer
on.
hat.
The deer killer.
Deer killer.
Stalker, killer. I mean, they go together.
Yeah. Well, anyway. So, what else has been going on here with you, Beth? Anything exciting?
No, trick or treat.
How was that? What did you dress as?
I didn't dress.
Good for you.
Ezra did.
Ezra did. What did he dress
He
as?
was a bulldozer
Oh.
that you then
Aw.
wear. You're like the worker in the bulldozer, and you wear the bulldozer around your middle with the suspenders holding it up.
Of course.
That's
Nice.
a clever costume.
Yeah.
I like
and
that.
He absolutely loved it because then if you reach down where the little bucket is and press the button, it has a beep backup noise. So whenever he went up and rang the doorbell, he'd ask for candy and then he'd press the button and back up from their house.
Oh my gosh, that's adorable.
Like fading out, like bye.
So he's backing up, and there's that's cute.
And
That is
they would
adorable.
put the candy in the
The bucket.
bulldozer bucket.
Makes
That
me
was
think
really
of
cute.
saying you bitches ready to get some food?
Yeah. You bitches ready for some food?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now, speaking of beeping, here's a new feature on this board that I think we're all going to have some fun with one day. And I just want to say, let me make sure. Okay. How are all you motherfuckers doing? Yay! Did you hear that? There was a beep there, ladies and gentlemen. I could bleep us. So now when Cam comes on,
You can
I
lie
can't
and
wait.
God, mess with him.
I can live
He's
bleep
gonna
him.
walk out on you again,
He
dude.
will, 100%.
Would you stop that? People gonna think I'm cursing up the blue streak.
I'm gonna come across that bench. I don't
So-
care what you sing.
I don't care what you say. I don't care what you sing.
This is going to be such trouble.
Yeah, we're gonna have fun with that.
Yeah.
But probably my most the real reason I got it,
Uh-huh.
you know,
Uh-huh.
What's for Cam?
No.
is for this reverb. Thank you.
can't. I love that wet reverb sound.
Yes.
You know, and Taylor hates when I describe it as wet, but that's the
Well,
only
that's
way
what
I've
it
ever
is.
heard it
Wait,
described.
I don't even know what you're doing.
Reverb. You don't hear it?
No.
I hear it.
Oh yeah.
How do you not hear? Is that your bad ears,
Sounds
or
like
is
he's
there
talking in
something
a hallway.
screwy in the mix?
It sounds like he's talking in a hallway.
You don't hear that?
Giant cavernous room.
No, it sounds exactly the same as it always does.
Let me hear your headphones. Give me your headphones. See if it's your ears. Or
I
not.
have
might-
death
you-
in my one ear.
Well, maybe that's what it is. Hello. No, yeah, it's not there. That's weird.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what. You know what?
Ridiculous in
Well,
reality.
I do. I do.
Totally sane.
But we'll have to.
Shocking.
We'll figure it all out later.
Well,
See,
no,
this is good.
I wonder if the listeners are hearing it.
That's a great question. Listeners, are you hearing it? I really wanted to just say, let's not try to do a show tonight. Let's just do a test show, which is, I guess, essentially what this is going to be.
Right.
Yeah.
Isn't that what every show is?
Basically, we're just testing to see how long we can
I
go
don't know
before
what
people
you're
tell us
talking
to
about.
stop.
I am a total professional.
Well, I have to tell you, the bleeping makes me super happy for Cam because I have to tell you guys. So Matt has been coming over and working out with me in the mornings, like a few days a week.
Yes.
You heard that right, audience. Matt
And,
Calorie is working out.
I'm gonna make him jacked, man.
Yeah.
It's gonna be addressing Arnold Schwarzenegger up in here.
You're going to be rippling out of that plaid shirt.
Yeah. That's the goal. That's the goal.
Mental image right now.
So the other day he's over at the house and we're working out, and this is a few days after Cam, after Matt asked Cam to be or to dress up as Santa Claus,
Right.
and Cam
walked out.
And I had listened to up to right before that started to happen, so I had heard most of everything for that show, and I mean there was quite a few things that were super funny about it, but we're sitting in there listening to it, and you can tell Cam is just getting overwhelmed, like he's getting bombarded from every direction, and Matt starts singing this. He starts singing, asking him to be Santa Claus.
Oh yeah, because you were singing. What was that song? Every day or day by day.
Day by day.
Right, and then I was like night by night, and I didn't know the song, and so I was just vamping with you.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, let me sing about Cameron not dressing as Santa Claus for the children. And then go ahead, Colby.
Wow, I don't remember that
and
at all.
Cameron out of nowhere goes, "I don't care what you sing, I'm not going to do it." And it caught me so funny. I said it out loud when we were in the middle of working out, and Matt had to stop working out for like 10 minutes. He was laughing so hard. He's like, "I didn't notice you said that."
Yeah, I didn't. That's right. You're the one that pointed it out to me.
So
He's like, I don't care what you say. I don't care what you sing. I ain't going to dress as Santa Claus.
and so now that you can do the bleeping out on command,
Yeah.
and just overwhelm them, I feel like we're gonna get a lot of future just gold nugget one-liners.
He's
out of
going to
Cam.
shoot me one day. I can tell you. I can tell you
He
that.
probably will.
He probably will. That's how it's going to end for me, folks.
Well, can you do it on a day when I'm not here?
He's not going to shoot you.
I was
you
trying
just don't
to
wanna
counsel
see
him
it.
through it.
I
I
was
was
like,
like-
you were doing a phenomenal
You had
job.
the right advice.
Yeah, I was
just
like,
say
just
yes and
ignore
he'll
it.
stop.
Just say yes, he'll stop.
Yeah.
And then you just kept going. And I'm like,
No.
Cameron, just say yes and he'll forget about it.
Because he doesn't actually have to do it, even if he does
No.
say
Of
yes.
course
I know.
not.
You know
Of
what I
course
mean?
not. I was planning on doing it myself because I knew he wouldn't do it. But I just wanted to see if he would get to do it, or if I can get him to be Elf on a Shelf, or who else was it? The Abominable
No,
Snowman.
you wanted him to be Yukon Cornelius.
Oh,
That's
that
right.
one would actually fit.
That would be
That
hysterical.
would fit his
That would be
character.
hysterical.
So he's got that little cherub face that's just
Yeah.
so dear.
It works.
And he would look so cute.
And that backwoods sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He would look adorable. Who else was it? Oh, wait a second. Oh, I'm listening to the feed there. God. Like, what the hell's happening
What's
there?
happening?
Give him new toys to play with.
No,
and it
so
goes nuts.
speaking of new toys, we also have some new. Well, it's
That's definitely no way I'm dressing up as Santa Claus.
we have a montage of no's from last week.
I'm not dressing as Santa Claus. No. Nope, nope, no. That's definitely no way I'm dressing up as Santa Claus. Yes.
How many ways can he say the word no?
He sounded like Harry Carey at that last one.
don't.
Hey,
Hey,
if you were a hot dog, would you eat yourself?
I would. I'd smother myself in relish.
I'll shave
I
my
don't
beard.
know where
I
this
don't know
conversation
either.
is going.
You guys don't know Harry Carey? Dude,
Harry-
it's his the SNL skit.
Oh,
this,
no.
The Harry Carey, the broadcaster from back in the day.
Yeah,
I know who
Will
that
Ferrell
is,
used to do
yeah.
it.
Hi. I was in the Marine Corps with a guy that could crush that imitation. He'd put on in the military when you're in boot camp and you have to wear glasses, they give you issued
Oh,
glasses,
right.
and they call them birth control.
Yeah,
because because you ain't getting any wearing those glasses. And they're the most ridiculous looking things in the world. And so he would put those on and push them way up high on the bridge of his nose, and do that, cross his eyes and scrunch his face up.
See?
Hey.
That used to crack me up when he did that. And when I at that age, when Will Ferrell was doing Harry Carey, I had no idea who Harry Carey was.
I didn't either. The first time I had seen it, I had to look him up. But the funny part is that's what he's actually like.
looks like.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
I know. It's so funny.
That's not funny.
That's not funny.
It's almost like he's here.
That's not Latin.
I feel like the entire show today is going to be Matt just playing with
I
things
know.
on this board.
I got so many.
That's Veronica.
All right. So what else? You, Debbie, have moved into my old place. I am
indeed.
fully out now, and thank
I am
God.
fully in.
How do you like it?
Quite the experience.
That was a real hesitant.
Yeah.
Well,
She
it's
hasn't
I don't blame
hard
you.
to say because I haven't unpacked. Like I did the move yesterday. My muscles are still screaming at me for that. But so my stuff is everywhere.
Yeah.
So once I get it all
Situated.
put where it needs to be and I feel like I'm actually living there,
Yeah.
then I'll have a better answer. But I do like the place.
Well,
It has the potential to be very cute.
that makes
It
one
really
of us.
does.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good for
So-
you. Good for you.
And
I'm
I
glad
think
you
that
like
I
it.
like how they said it has the potential to look cute because
It has-
Matt had it, it wasn't cute.
No,
Matt didn't try.
I didn't even try.
I mean, I love you, but you didn't.
No, it was like a dorm room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. What am I gonna do?
Well, you didn't. I mean,
She probably has a lot of things you could have done.
I mean,
Well,
I cleaned, and
Yeah. Well, cleaning. I could have cleaned more often or more thoroughly.
we cleaned for 3 days.
holy. Wow. I just knew you guys were doing it the one day when I came over to help
No,
that
we
last
cleaned
little
for 3
bit.
days, and it was quite the adventure.
We did like a floor at a time.
Yes,
Yeah, basically.
Mhm.
And there were 3 floors.
yes. And I came home the last night, and my husband looked at me and he goes, "Who the hell are you?" And I'm like, "Have I not been home very much?" He goes, "No."
Well, thank you for the loan of your wife, Mark.
I should give a shout out to my helpers yesterday. Bob Fissel.
Mm-hmm.
He was the one who provided a truck.
By the
so that I
way,
could-
future big movie star Bob Fissel.
He's got a great name.
Because he's got a part in a Gettysburg Christmas.
yeah.
He got to act opposite Bruce Boxleitner. Okay.
Exciting.
Yeah, $2. That was his line.
He said
$2.
$2.
Mhm.
Oh, I thought they paid him $2.
No, they paid him $1.50
Yeah.
for a $2 line.
I heard that the whole line was $2 make you holler, but they cut out the last, it didn't make the movie,
No.
They cut it.
No, not really.
But anyway, yeah, he was fantastic. He has a truck, so he brought that over so that we could get the things that wouldn't fit in my
Well,
car.
trucks are
The
handy.
plight of
Yeah.
all truck owners.
Yeah, exactly. And
He
Colby, I'd
actually
like to thank.
offered it. I didn't say a thing. He found out I was moving, and he offered it. so-
Colby has, used helped. What am I trying to say? Colby has brought his truck over, and we have moved some stuff with it, and
That couch
I
was
appreciate
insane.
that.
I did that fit in
My
your
couch?
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
I mean, it fell off a couple times, but
The most difficult part of it was just getting it out of the front door of the old house.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Like
Like,
once we
that's
got it into the
crazy.
truck and then got it to the new house, that was pretty easy.
yeah,
Okay, good.
yeah, the new house that wasn't a problem. But go ahead. So you moved everything. Bob Fissel.
Bob Fissel, Matt Atkinson.
Matt Atkinson helped you.
He did.
What?
Pays to have friends.
Wow, I guess it does.
Well
You
done,
got famous
Matt.
friends too, man.
and our very own Cameron Mallow.
Yes, he did. Cam Mallow
And he was
helped
fantastic.
out. Really?
Oh yeah, he was like, "All right, let's get this done," and he just. Even when he goes, at some point, shortly into after he had arrived, he was like, "I'm already tired," and I'm like, "Dude, I've been doing this all day."
I got it.
No, he did. He was great, and he.
I got it.
I got it. Go ahead. He was great.
Yeah, no, he was. He was a huge help.
Good.
So the three of them, I could not have done it without the three.
I gotta say, Cam is a good helper. When I was setting all this up,
Yeah, he came over and helped then.
he came over and helped. Now he'd come over and help once a week because he had Mondays and Tuesdays off, and he'd come over and help. And I learned after maybe the third time that he doesn't just pitch in. You got to tell him what to do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so I told him what to do. I said, okay, Kate, could you put this bookshelf together? And he, boom, just knocks it right out.
That's the hardest part.
He's
You don't
really
know
a great
what
helper.
Is in somebody's head once, so you kind of have to like.
Yeah, and I
Like,
hate
I think
asking
weird.
for.
I think
really?
this was.
Yeah.
I never noticed.
I think this instance was a little bit different because he knew ahead of time it was a move and that we were actually moving the stuff.
Yeah.
So he could see this still needs to get out of the house, so he could,
Did he break
easy.
anything?
Nope.
Can
Really?
I say one thing
It
about
fell off.
about Matt moving? So we were getting everything out of the house, and he said, "I really haven't touched the third floor yet." So we went up there, and that's where he has all of his painting stuff.
Was
Now-
he so finicky with how you moved that?
No,
No,
not
I was
at all.
throwing
Not at all.
paintings down the
He
stairs.
literally was. First of all, he's a fantastic painter. You really are.
I
He
am.
really does not give
I mean,
himself
thank you.
enough credit
That's so
for
kind
that.
of you.
I've seen a post of some on Facebook, and he is.
Yeah,
good.
and he gave me one to take home, which was very sweet, and he's going to finish
Two.
another one.
I gave
He
you.
doesn't-
Oh, I got to finish it. That's
yeah,
right.
about that one, but he's going to finish it for me. But when I came up the stairs, got his full name yelled at him because he just has them laying everywhere, and I'm like, you worked hard on these things. What the hell are
Hardly.
you doing?
So Matthew Samantha Calorie is what they say.
Yes, I think I said Matthew Marie Claire Calorie, but it was everywhere, and like. I understand the artistic mind. Like, you did it, it's yours. It doesn't mean as much. But he had great things, and they were just. And I was like, you will not do this
You
again.
shouldn't have made that noise. That is so gonna be.
I 100%
Thank
just
you.
thought that.
You know, the one thing about this new mixer is there's no mark button. I have to. You know what I'll do is I'll do this. There. Now I'll go look for it. That line.
Ooh.
Yeah. Ooh.
Oh, Marie, the Friends episode with the pivot, 100% got referenced more than once.
Pivot.
Now so you had a problem, and I knew this when I first moved in there before I even tried. And Cameron called me last night, and he goes, "Hey."
Oh no, here
Excuse
we
me.
go.
I love how every
This
conversation
is gonna
with
be
Cam
weird on
starts
here.
the same.
With hey, yeah. He goes,
Hey, how did you get a box spring up the stairs?
and I said I didn't.
Well, what you gonna go sleeping on then up there?
And I was like,
Different accent.
and I was like, I said I bought a frame that had a lot of slats, so I didn't need that. And you just put it together and you take it apart when you move it, and it's very easy.
What do you have? A queen size bed?
Full size.
So did you? Oh, so that frame that I left there is a queen size. So is that? Did you use it?
I haven't yet. No.
Are you gonna?
Yes.
Did you see the mattress and box spring that he left up in the third floor?
No. Oh, yes, I did.
Yeah.
Now you can either take that as considerate or not, or lazy.
Well, no, you know what it is.
There
I'm
were a
paying it
couple
forward.
things that he was going to leave.
And you talked him out of that?
Well, I just threw him away when he walked.
What?
I appreciate
What
that.
was I
It was
going to
an
leave?
iron you were going to leave.
That has been
no,
passed
that is
down from
there.
tenant
That
to
is still
tenant.
there.
That's still there, by the way. That is something that.
Pull it out of the trash.
No, it. Wait a second. Did you really throw it in the trash?
I really did throw it in the trash.
Okay. When we walked upstairs, it was sitting
It
at the
was
top of the
there.
stairs, right? No freaking joke. No freaking
in the
joke. I swear to God. Huh?
I threw it in the dumpster.
Are you
I
sure you
took it
did?
outside.
Are you sure that you actually
you
threw
sure
it in?
you didn't have two?
100%.
Well, I guess.
No, I definitely
I guess
didn't have
Ghost
two.
and Gettysburg are real.
Well, now hold on. because now maybe like Mickey Dolenz, I'm a believer. Okay, because you and I walked up those stairs, right?
I laid eyes on the iron. It did in fact exist.
And now I thought I was walking up there expecting a completely cleared floor, but there was one iron, and was there something else with it? No, it was just the iron.
Just the iron.
Just the iron at the top of the stairs. And I was like, oh, the girls, I just assumed that you guys left it there. And I was like, oh, and, you know, some as was given to me by the previous tenant, here I bequeath to you this iron.
And I was like,
walked
okay,
it
great.
down to the dumpster.
Well, if I was you, I'd be sleeping with one eye open.
Holy shit.
Thank you so very much.
Holy shit.
Also, like, there were a ton of, like, religious sayings and happiness is light sayings on the wall on the 3rd floor.
Did he have those posters like the
No,
the
they were
dogs
from
playing
the
in the
previous
park and like
tenant.
the you
Yeah.
can do it if you put your mind to it kind of
Yeah.
thing?
So he started to peel them off halfway through the move, you know, when he should have been doing something else. And then he was
I
peeling
love
those
how
off, and he just
I love that I'm not the only one that has noticed that happens.
You are definitely not the only one.
So
You know, let me just say, my biggest inspiration growing up was Tom Sawyer. You know Tom Sawyer? The great
Getting other
whitewashing
people-
incident?
Getting other people to do the work.
Yes,
So
yes.
Cindy was howling because he would be talking and telling me something, and I'd be, you know, putting stuff in a box or whatever, and I go, "Should you be doing something else right now?" Okay, just checking.
Well, no, wait a second. In fairness to myself, I would do things, and you would say, just go do something else. I got
I did.
this.
I
Okay.
told him
So
to
you
go
would
away.
shoo me away, and so I'm like, all right, you know, Bethany's in charge. Beth's
I
in
can tell
charge.
you why that is though.
Why?
Because you don't want to do things so much that watching you do things is painful.
It is 100% true. Because he hovered.
Don't
Dude,
choke
it's
over
like
there.
you can see him actively trying to get out of
To
it.
just leave.
It's
Hey, you know, lunch is in 3 hours. You want me to go get something?
Right. But
Yeah.
he feels super obligated to do something, so he's like, "Well, I need to do something."
Yeah.
I don't.
So I
I
was
hate
like,
it.
can you just not be here?
It's the worst. It is the worst. I really do.
There's a reason I didn't ask him to help.
I know. Cam's like, hey, are you going to help Debbie move in on Wednesday? And I was like, oh, I don't know. She didn't ask me. She asked you? Yep. And I'm like, well, she didn't ask me. Did you ask him or did he volunteer?
Actually, I think he initially volunteered.
Yeah.
He was hoping to have had his truck out of the shop by this point. And so it again, I didn't say a word. He said, I could help. I could bring my truck if it's out of the shop. And I went, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I held him to that. The only person I actually asked was Matt Atkinson. And he was, and I
he
told him,
said yes, huh?
he said yes. And I said, I even prefaced it with, I will not be sad if you say no.
Yeah.
Right.
I get
Well,
it.
I'll come
but-
over Saturday and we'll unpack.
So now, so Bethany's going to help you organize.
Listen, that's good because Taylor and I have lived in our house for almost 2 years now, and we're still not unpacked. I mean, we have.
Maybe you should hire Beth to come and do that. That's
we
what
still
she
have
does.
Things in boxes.
Beth is an organizer.
I'm a certified professional organizer.
I do appreciate that. I do appreciate that. That's a good skill to have, being organized. Every once in a while, I'll get into a kick where I really I'm gonna organize everything, and I'll spend 2 or 3 days doing it. But I'm not consistent on it.
See,
And
my
ipso facto boxes still full of things in my house.
problem is, can you see who's listening to the show?
Yeah.
Is there a Mark Yingling listening?
Well, I can't see who's listening. I can see
Why,
who
are there
comments.
unpacked, still packed boxes at your house too?
So it took my husband a year to move out of his bedroom at his parents' house when we moved in together. And I love him with all my heart and soul.
I hope so. He's your husband.
But that man is this close to being a hoarder. This close. And it has been, any argument we've ever had has been over that. Like, I'll throw something away and he'll literally go in the trash and get it out. That's
Like
why I
what?
thought you did
Like what?
that with the...
Yeah, because here's in all
The
fairness,
iron.
girls always think that they
Yes.
always throw away the wrong thing.
Right.
No.
If you're gonna-
And they always are first to accuse you of being a hoarder simply for being a good Boy Scout, which is being prepared.
No. So he had concert T-shirts.
Okay.
That were so old you
Your
couldn't
memories.
Even, no, you couldn't even see what was on them anymore.
But he could in his
and
heart.
the armpits were gone.
Oh.
That makes it even better, though.
It's air conditioned.
How is
Using
that
them
better?
You know, like I would put them on like if I was working and doing something really gross, you know, like cleaning or, you know, whatever.
Right.
And so I was like, okay, this is gross.
Bonfire.
Now. I'm going to throw it away. And he was like, but that was my concert T-shirt from blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, honey, there's nothing on. It's a black T-shirt.
It's sentimental, though.
Well, here's my question, though. And Colby, I'm sure you're wondering this, too. Maybe you've asked before, and I've never done this, but so I'm going to ask it now.
Okay.
Why do you care? Why do you ladies care
It's a real Jerry
that a man holds on to a garment that has some meaning to him, that may be comfortable?
Because he had given it to me and it was in my drawer.
Why did he give it to you?
Because I used it to clean.
So he gave it to you to clean?
He gave it to me to wear when I was cleaning because he
Understood.
didn't want to wear it anymore.
Oh, well then, okay, that's a different story.
Exactly.
Forgive
so
me.
technically it was mine now.
At least you waited to be given it. Taylor just takes things from me and claims it. And I'm like, hey, that's mine. And she's like, it's mine now. You know, like,
really?
I mean, dude, honestly, sometimes I'll be like, no, that one is not yours. You can wear it today, but that's mine still. You know, I will say, like, there's some things like I'm like, nope, that stays mine.
Is it
But
mostly like sweatshirts and stuff?
Sweatshirts, T-shirts.
Yeah.
She likes to use my T-shirts, which I do. I mean, there's part of me that loves this fact, but she likes to sleep in my T-shirts.
Yeah, that's hot.
But
guys like that.
the minute
They
she
do?
starts sleeping in them, you can pretty much write
Guarantee
that
it's
T-shirt
hers.
off because it's going to be all like it's not going to fit the same anymore because she sleeps in it constantly.
Oh, right, and then you
know what I
stretch
mean?
it when you roll. Yeah, twisting and stretching.
I don't know how Mark feels when I wear his clothes.
He stood as erect as I am now.
Well, I walked that one in there, didn't I? Poor Mark.
Interesting. Ghost of Sickle's Leg says he's the one who's the minimalist and his wife wants to hold on to things.
Really?
Yeah.
That is interesting.
Says she got mad when I suggested we throw away all of our daughter's stuff from her school days past.
See, Cindy got mad when I suggested we throw away her daughter.
Whoa. Where is she to defend herself?
I love her daughter. Her daughter is so
mad
cool.
about that comment, she just decided not to come today.
She was on her way. She's listening. No, Cindy is actually at a function for work, like some kind of reception. You texted her?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I was
That's
like, you are very missed.
Yes.
Indeed.
She is.
I actually looked.
I miss being there.
I went looking for her when I got here.
Well,
She was not there.
I got to tell you, Taylor loves having her around too because we went out. For instance, we went out to.
Well, she's joining us for dinner tonight.
Perfect.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Good.
Because this is what happens when the four of us go out to dinner. Used to, it would be the three of us, be me, Matt, and Taylor. And Matt and I would start talking history stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And Taylor would have absolutely nothing.
Yep.
No
Yep.
interest, nothing to contribute to the
Yep.
conversation. So now when we start getting our nerd on, the ladies talk to each other and thus have a good
Yeah.
The best part about this conversation right now is that I heard this exact same conversation from Cindy about how much it's so nice to have Taylor
Really?
there because she could talk to her and
Aww.
yeah.
Oh,
Mutual love there.
Yeah, that was really funny.
that's pretty good.
I hear it from both perspectives.
Yeah. Well, it's nice to have everybody have somebody to talk to, you know?
Yeah.
Because there's nothing worse than being the third wheel.
Yeah.
You know, when you got all these people that are interested in something and you're not, and you're just like, oh, this is so boring.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I get it. So all right, so do you like the new place? It's sufficient for you. I mean, it's a place of your own, right?
Yeah.
Is this the first place of your own you've ever had?
No.
No. Okay.
After college, I had an apartment on my own for
Okay.
about a year. But this one's a little different because then it was suburbs of Chicago.
Oh boy.
So it was all one floor. It was the third floor, but it was all one. You know, all of my stuff was on one level. This is I have 3 floors to work with.
Yeah,
so,
you can spread out.
And then
but I've acquired a lot more stuff since then.
Yeah. Did you use this move as an opportunity to get rid of a lot of stuff?
I didn't really chance because most of it is still in storage.
Okay.
So I figure because I have the storage unit until I empty it out, basically. So so long as I keep paying the rent on that, I can move that stuff out a little more slowly and then go through it as I move it.
Okay.
So.
Good.
Remember, it took Mark a year to move in. I
I'm
moved
hoping it
my
doesn't take me that
entire life in one vehicle, in a 2-door Ford Escort.
Oh God. My friend had one of those.
To the new house, and that was my everything I owned.
Well, let me ask you this, because I have the same skill. I can do that very easily. I did it moving out to Denver when Taylor and I first moved in together. And I have to ask you, have you moved a lot? Like in your childhood and then through the rest of your life, have you moved a lot?
Yeah.
I think that's the thing. I think if you move a lot in childhood and like growing up and in your early adult years, I think you find like it becomes easier just to cram the necessities.
Things.
Yep. Get rid of what you don't need and hit it, you know.
I calculated between mom and dad and my adult life how many times I have moved my stuff. 23.
23.
Yeah.
You've had 23 different addresses.
23 different bedrooms.
I think
But the same address?
No. Yeah, we have a mansion.
Yeah.
And I just moved from one wing of the house to the other
Good
wing.
for you.
Decide which one she liked better.
I think I have to be in the same ballpark though. Considering my childhood and then the Marine Corps, definitely. I moved. I mean, I was constantly picking up everything I owned and moving in the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
And then when I got out, man, I lived all over the place. I've moved quite a few times since I've gotten out of the Marine Corps. So I think I have to be right there with you. But it's not that it's a bad thing. You know, you just get good at it.
I'm sick of it.
My childhood, I mean, it was very entertaining.
What? Your childhood?
Like with dad and everything.
Oh,
but
yeah.
like in my adult life, I've only moved twice. You know, Mark and I moved into together.
Right.
And we moved into our house now.
So yeah. So but and you're done. Did you buy your house?
Yes.
So you're done. Well, you probably. Are you gonna have another kid?
No.
Okay. So then
That would require about $40,000 more dollars.
because children are expensive, or you have to get some kind of like.
That's how much the fertility costs.
Oh, okay. So you got that whole issue going on there.
Yeah.
Okay. So then, so you don't. It's not like you're gonna need to like expand for a family.
No, we live in a townhouse though. It would be nice to have
property.
Some property and stuff. But you know,
I could tell you, we're out on 4 acres now, and you know, I went home this afternoon to let May, and I come in and I get her out of her cage, and I'm like, okay, Mage, you ready to go walk on the North 40? You know, and it's nice. We just walk around the property. And she does her business. She frolics and chases leaves and things like that. And it's nice to have that property. And like my neighbors aren't right on top of me, and it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Dude, I love having some space.
You've got some cool. You could shoot guns out by you. I can't.
Dad has really good property, and my mom, I mean,
Where's she?
It's a gajillion. It's like all woods around her.
Oh yeah.
She's in.
I lived in the woods for a year. It was kind of depressing.
Oh.
Well, it was in the woods on a mountainside.
But
the east side of the mountain.
you need to. My mother, like you look out her front windows, it is gorgeous.
Yeah, well, that might have
Absolutely
changed things.
gorgeous.
I might have thought of things differently if I had a nice view.
Yeah, she has the best view. Sometimes bear walk by.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And deer and
you go, hey bear.
No. She named the bear Yogi, obviously.
Oh,
Obviously, that's what they're all named.
Yeah,
aren't they?
they're all Yogi.
Yeah.
They're all
You know it's him because
or Teddy.
He's a black bear, obviously, but he has a little brown spotch near his butt.
Black bears are so much fun to watch.
They are.
They're silly, dude. I mean, obviously they'll jack you up if you get too close to them.
Don't
But
do
like,
that.
but watching them from a distance is hysterical. Like, there's a ton of them, obviously, in Montana, especially in the area where Taylor is from. And when anytime we go out there, we'll be driving around, and you'll look over, man, and there'll just be a bear in someone's front yard picking things out of a tree, and you'll roll down the window and be like, hey, bear, and they'll stop and look at you and get all confused, and then they'll go right back to what they were doing. It's hysterical, man. They're so funny to watch.
Yeah,
cool.
I am not a big fan of bears. I'll be honest with you. I am afraid of them, deathly afraid of them, but that's just the way it is, you know? All right, so we're going to take a break. We'll come back with our Listener of the Year is going to receive his awards and many other things We'll talk to you in a little bit. Be right back. It's not funny.
Want to be on the show? Send an email to info@addressinggettysburg.com. Be sure to include the reason why you think you'd make a good guest when you write us.
Want the freshest cup of coffee in Gettysburg? Then visit Bantam Roasters, formerly 82 Cafe at 82 Steinway Avenue. They roast all of their coffee in-house, and they have a full coffee bar to keep you caffeinated during your trip. Visit them at www.raggededgerc.com for their menu and shipping options for all of their freshly roasted coffee. Use promo code Hancock for 10% off your order in the cafe.
Enjoy historical stories on the History Fix platform. Explore movies, short films, and documentaries. Addressing Gettysburg podcast fans receive an extra $5 off the first year's annual subscription. Sign up at historyfix.com and use promo code Gettysburg. Every subscription includes a 7-day risk-free trial. Escape into history with History Fix.
This episode of Addressing Gettysburg is brought to you in part by me, audiobook narrator Mike Scott. Narrator of Savis Beattie's Bloody Autumn, the Shenandoah Valley Campaign of 1864, and Unlike Anything That Ever Floated, the Monitor and Virginia and the Battle of Hampton Roads. If you are an author or publisher interested in having your titles produced as audiobooks, or even just in learning more about the process, give me a shout. You can find my contact info on my website, MikeScottVoice.com. That's MikeScottVoice.com.
The 1863 civilians of Gettysburg were reluctant witnesses to the Great Battle. Join Ken Rich, the man in the red shirt, for his historic town walking tours. You could book these tours by emailing ken@gettysburgtownhistory.com. That's ken@gettysburgtownhistory.com. And when you're in town, look for the guy in the red shirt. And Civil War Trails. It's the world's largest open-air museum, and they offer over 1,300 sites across 6 states. Drive the Gettysburg campaign turn by turn, paddle to Frederick Douglass's birthplace, or hike to remote earthworks and artillery positions. Visit civilwartrails.org to request a brochure and explore their interactive map. Follow Civil War Trails and create some history of your own.
You're listening to the Addressing Gettysburg podcast with Matt Callery.
You're back with Cam's Idol.
That was years ago.
Here's Matt.
Flippy, 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 tippy, 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 lippy, tippy. Hey, everybody, we're back now. And as you know, Bethany, on the Get Out of the Car tour last, 2 weeks ago, I guess it was already?
2 weeks.
We like to, in the October one, we like to announce Listener of the Year. And this started last year with the great Estella Beard being named the first.
Yay, Estella.
Yes, the first Listener of the Year. And let's give her a major round of applause there because she's wonderful. She's wonderful. And she wore her beaver hat with pride. That was the award last year because, as you know, that was the talk of the town last year was the beavers on the park. But every year, what called?
Like a Davy Crockett hat?
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
And every year, the award is going to be different. Now, not only is there a physical award that you receive, and that will have either something to do with, like last year, the talk of the town, right? The big deal, whatever everybody was talking about, something symbolic of that year, or you as a person. Okay,
My
but
gosh, this
what
could literally be anything.
Exactly.
Yes.
But
Got
what
it.
everybody gets is from that point on. No, well, you do get a big hug
or a full body cast. You never know. You never know.
We're still working on that big bubble for you.
You get
Yes.
right, like the hamster ball. So
There
no,
goes
you
Wednesday on the Emmitsburg Road.
every listener of the year.
Mental image.
Rolling across the weed field, the wind blowing at him.
It's like a tumbleweed. A wind's tumbleweed. The tour
It's a
bus,
tumble mic.
Yeah, the tour bus is coming along and
Yeah.
yeah.
And you hear
Oh my God! Oh Jesus!
the guitar or whatever it is that plays.
Anyway, So every listener of the year, and I sent a message to Estella. It was either this morning or yesterday, I forget when. But I said, listen, I realized that a hat or whatever is not enough for listener of the year. So all listeners of the year, going back to Estella, and now on to Mike and whoever comes henceforth, will in perpetuity. Receive this is just
Your
mail.
mail?
You'll receive my mail.
bills especially.
You will receive 2 free tickets to any ticketed event that we do with Addressing Gettysburg. So you and whoever you'd like to bring can always come and do that. So that's one of the things you have. But for first of all, our listener of the year, ladies and gentlemen, is here. Michael, 6 Questions Lentz. Thank you, Michael. Welcome. And you've got, I think this is you, okay?
It's so accurate, it's almost not even funny.
Yeah.
No, not the.
Oh.
The first.
Oh, okay.
The first
I
thing
see.
you have
I
is
see.
this Addressing Gettysburg neck brace. Okay.
That's
all right. There we go.
All right.
And
Yeah,
here's
I might
something.
need that, yeah.
Here's something else that I think really we would all feel better
Especially with the cord in it. The cord in the.
Yeah, we would all feel better if we wore this every day, especially walking around the battlefield. And that is a bubble wrap suit.
Yeah, buddy.
Okay. There we go. It is a full body bubble wrap suit. And there you go, Michael. Thank you for all of your support of Addressing Gettysburg.
Thank you. Ooh.
No, but really, Mike, thank you very much for all the years of support. You have been one of the early adopters of this insanity. And you were an early patron.
Right.
And, like I said on the show the other day, no matter what you're going on in your life, ups or downs, you always remain a patron. Even if you have to lower your pledge amount to $1 for a month or two, you always stick around. And that means a lot. Of course, every time we've move studios or something like that, and we put out the word about the wish list, tons of stuff starts showing up at my door from everybody, but Mike always sends far more than he should. No, not than everybody else, but than he should.
Mike, he's a great guy.
He is a great guy.
He gave us our first comment on Apple Podcasts on my show.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Great comment, dude. He's a good guy, man. He messages me on our Instagram account all the time about he's been reading the New Testament of the Maryland campaign. He's been messaging me about it, and he's just because he knows I'm interested in it.
Yeah.
Good guy, man. Good guy.
Yeah. He's coming on the show next week, Scott.
It's gonna be. Have you read any of it yet?
I have to pick a chapter, and that's what we're going to talk about.
Oh, okay.
Do you have a recommendation?
I have one for you.
For it.
I have one for you.
Go ahead.
Is it the Westwoods?
Yeah, just because it is so. We focus on the wheat field here at Gettysburg so much that I think the Westwoods, there's a lot there in that chapter, but the way he really brings it out is how quickly things developed.
Well,
it was impressive just to see just who's lining up against the Union forces in the Westwoods. It's like a who's who of Confederate brigade commanders.
It's all the names you know. It's all the names you know. And the thing about that is, too, like here, a lot of people will focus on Pickett's charge.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's the big thing nowadays here at Gettysburg. But it's not necessarily it's really not necessarily the craziest part of the battle.
No,
you know what I mean?
It's not.
So at Antietam, most people focus on either the cornfield or they focus on the Burnside Bridge.
Yeah,
because the bridge,
Because those are the names they know.
right.
Well, and those are crazy.
But when you really when you do per capita, right? Like obviously the cornfield has the highest casualty rate, but it's also a longer period of time. When you look at time frame and like per capita and how many guys are actually wounded and killed, the Westwoods is by far the worst fighting at Antietam.
My friend's great whatever was killed there. He was in the 125th Pennsylvania.
Yes.
Right there on the right.
Yeah, they were a rookie regiment.
Rookie regiment. They've been in service a month. This is their first battle. He is killed in those first 20 minutes when they just got chewed to shreds. And there was some confusion about his burial. Like they couldn't find where his grave is. but it turns out it was in the National Cemetery. For a while, she thought that it wasn't, but it is. And so I mean, so I think that's a good idea. I'll do the West
It's the West Woods because the cornfield actually takes multiple chapters. Bloody Lane takes multiple chapters, but West Woods, that is pretty good condensed amount in his book. For me, in that book, especially the cornfield section, and there's Rufus Dawes, major of the 6th Wisconsin, and he's moving his men forward. His colonel gets wounded, so he's just there, and smoke choking the battlefield. He's not sure what to do. He kind of freezes a moment. And so he sends a message over to a company commander who has a couple of companies of his regiment on the other side of the Hagerstown Turnpike.
His regiment split.
Yeah,
split the regiment down the road.
Exactly. He says, now he sees a discretionary order, if practicable, come to this side of the turnpike, come to our side over here. Kellogg, who is the company commander, goes, well, no, this is not discretion. I'm going to do this. So he orders his men up, and as soon as his men stand up, they start getting knocked down. It's like Saving Private Ryan with it's just so much is flying in the air that when they stand up, they just get knocked out. The other one that was impressive was a Pennsylvania regiment, a soldier. He was looking over at the 12th Massachusetts, the Webster Regiment. And the 12th Massachusetts, it looked like they were coming apart. It looked like they were streaming to the rear. And then the soldier looked again. So many men were getting wounded that those were men who were wounded heading to the rear. The regiment wasn't coming apart. These are the men who had already been hit.
Oh my God.
And they're just trickling back to the rear. And so Hartwig does a very good job of pulling out those human interest stories. It's a lot. That book is a lot.
I haven't read it, but does he talk about when Greene's division is coming up through the East Woods and finally hits the corner of the cornfield there and gets into the hand-to-hand scrap with I think it's the 13th Georgia?
Yeah, he talks
it's
about
900 pages. I'm sure he got it.
Yeah, it's a tome.
He talks about a little bit. He definitely does. I think not in detail probably that you, Colby, would probably be able to describe it, but he does go into it. He also he shows his Gettysburg. He really does. Robbins, the commissioner here at Gettysburg, who was serving the 4th Alabama, he was commanding basically an ad hoc force of 3 regiments in the East Woods, giving the 12th Corps all it could handle. In fact, this was these men who actually wounded the 12th Corps commander, Mansfield.
Okay.
So Hartwig, it's fantastic because he lets his Gettysburg show, because he pulls stories from Gettysburg into the Antietam story, like Sally the dog. He'll reference that with the 11th Pennsylvania.
Like where she is then.
Yeah, where she is in the battle and what's going on. And so he'll do that, and Robbins as well. So it's a fascinating book for Gettysburg students to be able to pick up, because there are little shout-outs to those who are familiar with this story.
Okay, that's pretty interesting. I didn't know that. I hadn't heard that before.
Also, the thing that's so interesting to me about Antietam, Gettysburg, you're starting to get away from. Mike, tell me if you get the same vibe. There's like a different vibe in the war from the first 2 years to the 3rd year to the 4th year, right? Like
absolutely.
Totally. And
absolutely.
Those first few years, there's almost a fairy tale like mysticism to them.
Yep.
Yeah.
A little bit. You think of First Manassas, or you think of even Antietam. Like there's like a fairy tale-ness to it. I don't know how else to describe it. It seems like something you would picture in a almost like in a children's book in a weird way.
Yeah, like they're all. It seems like they're all in some kind of romantic haze.
Yeah,
right.
Yes, exactly right.
And then Gettysburg happens, and then something changes.
Yeah, 1863 happens, and then by 1864,
really, right, the whole year.
And nobody is prepared.
I think Fredericksburg and Chancellorsville, I think, go a long ways at moving the war that direction. But at Antietam, it's the bloodiest single day of combat in the history of the country. So you have this absolute carnage taking place, but it's amidst this fairy tale vibe almost. I don't know. The battle is just it's a very unique thing to get into, and there's so many like cool one-off stories. The same way that you get these, these personal stories here at Gettysburg that are so compelling. You get the same thing just on a little bit of a smaller scale at Antietam.
You're right, Colby. Like there's something about Antietam and like all those earlier battles where when I go to those battlefields or I read about them or hear about them, there's something different. Like I can't explain it.
Even
Like
though the war is nasty, it hasn't gotten to the nastiness where it's coming.
Right.
Yeah.
It seems almost like practice. Which is silly to say about Antietam being the casualties, but like it's almost like they're sustaining these high casualties because they're still practicing. They're trying to figure out how to fight the war.
COVID.
I do.
And
I
the
think
second,
everybody does.
yeah, the second year of COVID, everybody was like, it was way worse than the first year because you just expected it to not have to affect you again.
Yeah, right.
I feel like the war kind of was like that. I think they thought, okay,
well, the price
it's not going to
play,
be
the price to play starts becoming a lot more evident,
yeah,
right? and more expensive,
and also maybe the fervor that gets you into the war. You know, it has maybe a good year or two before it starts to really like dissipate. And then it's just like, ugh, this is just miserable. And then it just becomes this horrible slog. Yeah. And that was the same thing with the Rona. Like, you know, at first, not everybody, but a good deal of you guys were all like,
all that stuff to keep you interested too.
What? Oh yeah, right.
So they were great about quarantine to begin with, and then you run out of that stuff, and
you just keep thinking, oh, by the end of the year this will be over.
Yeah.
By the end of the year this will be over.
Right.
And then we won't have to think about it again.
Right.
And then the new year starts, and you're still in the same storm.
Yeah. They can't keep doing this to us.
You can't.
Yeah.
I have a little bit of a controversial thing to throw in here. Me and Brad Gottfried share this opinion, so I want to see with the three of you what you think.
Okay.
Because I know saying this here, it's gonna be like sacrilegious almost.
Okay.
But obviously, a lot of most people will say that either Vicksburg or Gettysburg is the turning point of the Civil War, right? But I have an argument to make that Antietam is the actual turning point, and it's because the cause for which the North is fighting shifts at Antietam. It goes from preserving the Union to starting to focus on ending slavery. And that's the point. From that point on, the South has to take a hard stance on preserving slavery.
Right.
Meaning that France and England will not recognize them because of that, because France and England, obviously, by this point, have gotten rid of slavery in their own society.
I think there are, as with any event, there's multiple turning points. It's not like, I don't look at the war as it's going in this direction and then Gettysburg happens and it turns and then goes in that direction. I see it as like, the war begins with Fort Sumter and then there's a turning point at Manassas because now it's really real.
It's real.
We're fighting on land. We're fighting on people's farms. We're fighting close to Washington, D.C. People are dying. This is now real. And then you move on from there. And,
Shiloh.
Shiloh, and then eventually Antietam. And then there's like political turning points and everything. So I would agree with that too. But I think there were plenty of turning points before that as well.
And I mean that in the sense that, like to clarify, because obviously the South is going to, there's going to be numerous battles after that where the South, the Army of Northern Virginia is going to just mop the floor with the Army of the Potomac.
Yeah.
So obviously, I don't mean that in a tactical sense, but what I mean is,
that's another.
Like there was no turning back from this point.
Well, from that point, let's think about it this way: there's no chance that the South was going to win that war without being either recognized by England and France or receiving help from England and France in the war. Because the same way we wouldn't have won our independence without help from France. Like there's just no way. So that all that being said, unless Lincoln doesn't get reelected, which is a different story entirely. But from that point on, making slavery the focal point of the war really takes England and France out of play.
People had to choose.
I think, Colby, you have a compelling, people, especially at Antietam, have a compelling argument there, for sure. For me, I'm not a huge fan of the idea of turning points. I think there are definitely seminal moments that shaped the eventual outcome. And for me, one of those seminal moments is Gettysburg, because a lot of war in the United States is very much dictated by perception. And with Gettysburg here, it's in the Eastern Theater. You can do all you want in Tennessee, Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana, but no one's paying attention to that, really. Everyone's
Right.
paying attention to Virginia, Maryland, and Pennsylvania. And so Gettysburg is that first tactical and strategic clear-cut victory for the Army of the Potomac. And for them to have that confidence to show, hey, we believed in ourselves, we knew we were a good army, we proved it out, it's a huge moment in the course of the war.
And they did it on their own turf.
Exactly. And Antietam is huge for the political ramifications, as Colby says. But I would also say, how about this for a turning point? Robert E. Lee takes command.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah,
before.
I mean that's.
That's like a huge turning point.
That's the thing. There are moments that shape the outcome.
That definitely does.
And it always tells me that turning point is, to me, conjures the image of we could go one or two ways with this. And we just went one way instead of going the other road that we didn't travel.
Yeah.
And then then you build importance into, okay, this was a turning point. I think Gettysburg is one of those seminal moments, as is Vicksburg, as is Antietam, as is the Emancipation Proclamation, as is. And the re-election of Lincoln, the fall of Atlanta. That's an important thing. But here's the other thing, that going back to your previous thing here, Colby, it seems like it is split into three different wars. You have that romantic war at the very beginning, the first 2 years. And then 1863, you start seeing things shift. Gettysburg, I like to say, is the last time that romanticism enters the chat.
I would agree with you there too. I would absolutely pick his charge. I think romanticism dies on that.
Yeah.
And not
it's
to
the
give
last glorious charge.
And
Exactly.
not to give his charge any more like press than it already has. I'm not trying to like fluff that part of the battle, but it does seem at that point that's where the romanticism kind of dies, because after that, eventually Grant gets over here, and the minute Grant gets into the theater, dude, it turns into a slug out grind fest. I mean, it's just it's just day in, day out combat, and you really start getting exposed to the kind of fighting you'll see in the First World War.
But don't you think it's interesting how much people after the war, like veterans, would come back and be like, with Grant, they loved him. Not
who's they?
Like the veterans.
Kind of.
They did.
They reelected him.
And they come to. I was just up at Grant's cottage in
that's right,
Saratoga Springs, and they were talking about how these veterans would come up, and it's not an easy place to get to, especially then.
Well,
and they would come up to it and they would rub their hands on the back of the chair where his head would have rested when he was on it. I mean, that's a version of reverence that we can't comprehend today.
No.
For a long time, I had that kind of reverence for Mad Dog Mattis. Being a Marine, James Mattis was a general in the Marine Corps during the war, a very prominent general. And most of the guys when I was in, that's kind of how we felt about Mattis. Now, granted, he's not on the same scale as Grant by any means, but war will bring out, if you have someone that is great at what they're doing at that level, it will bring out a certain level of reverence that is unparalleled in any other aspect of life.
Yeah.
But I do, speaking of coming back to places and stuff, this is a follow-on question for Mike, because Mike, he's so knowledgeable, man. I love asking him stuff like this. But
you're also getting a lot of love on the. Everybody's like, I could listen to him for hours.
Yeah.
But as far as like comparing the two, Gettysburg and Antietam, I believe that it is it's Rufus Dawes that says, "I dread the thought of that place" when referencing Antietam.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know this for certain, but it seems to me that veterans after the war are very eager to get back to Gettysburg.
Yeah.
Very few of them want to go back to Antietam.
But do you think that's because the reunions were here?
No, I mean before the reunions ever became a thing. That's kind of the part I'm referencing, because the reunions changed the ball game. But do you think there's a reason to that?
I honestly think there is a reason for that, and two factors. One is Antietam was a victory. It was sold as a victory.
Yeah.
The fighting at Antietam,
no one knew.
Toss up.
Yeah.
I mean,
who won.
Really, it was a bloody slogging match.
Yeah.
For an entire day. So there isn't a moment where you can say we repulsed this attack and we were victorious. It really was. There are multiple moments in Antietam that you can point to and say, "Whoa, okay, that was important. That was impressive." But there's nothing like a Pickett's charge. There's nothing like an angle. There's nothing like a little round top. There's nothing of that scale. Definitive.
Those names.
Exactly. And so it's that. The other thing, and we cannot understate Lincoln's role in all of this, because Lincoln didn't go to Antietam and give a speech.
Right.
He went to Gettysburg.
He went to Gettysburg and gave a speech.
The name of the show is In Addressing Antietam.
and it's no offense to anyone at Antietam. I mean, Antietam is a fantastic battlefield and an excellent place. Anyone who has not visited Antietam needs to. And when Colby eventually becomes a guide, they need to hire him out to take a tour with him. But Antietam is just a different place than Gettysburg.
It is different, but they're both
the vibe
special.
is different.
You get the special feeling at both, but they are different. There is a different vibe between the two, and I think you're right, Mike. I think for the soldiers and also in our memory as well, that there was so much death and destruction at Antietam, but there was no it almost seemed like it was all done in vain because no one was a clear victor, right? Like so many people on both sides died, and it's to this day people are arguing, was it a Northern victory or was it a Confederate victory? And there's good arguments for both sides. You can say that Robert E. Lee and the Army of Northern Virginia achieved their objective, but you can also say the same thing of McClellan and the Army of the Potomac. So I think that getting to the end of the battle and not having that clearly defined victory on either side makes it seem that's why you get Rufus Dawes going, I dread the thought of that place, because it's so much death and destruction, and it almost seems like it was in vain, if that makes sense.
And also, looking at just the scale and how quickly that destruction happened at Antietam, we probably won't see that until 1864, that level of destruction. Because Antietam, literally in the cornfield, lead's flying through the air in such a volume that people are getting knocked out, according to Rufus Dawes' own quote, by the dozens.
I mean,
it's amazing to believe anybody survived that.
They're turning into Swiss cheese when they are too. I mean, the guys are getting hit with one guy will get hit with multiple rounds and two pieces.
And take the West Woods for example. I mean, there was one soldier who survived that West Woods fight, and he said, "I had a bullet hole through my cap, my coat, my canteen, my haversack." He's pointing out just the sheer volume of fire that happened in just like 5 to 15 minutes. Was just truly astonishing, and we will not see that until 1864 again.
It's so hard to imagine, walking into a field or anything where there's just like lead flying everywhere. Just these hard, inanimate objects that have they're not discriminating. They're gonna fly through whatever gets in their way.
Bro, let me tell you the sound that.
Well, you must know that, yeah.
Well, I've never been in a fight like Antietam's.
Of course not. But a bullet is a bullet is a bullet, isn't it?
But here's the thing about the difference. So in modern combat, most of the things I was getting shot at would be 7.62 rounds, right? So AK-47s, RPKs, which are basically belt-fed AK-47s.
I have one in the car.
Every once in a while, like a Dushka, which is a huge round. But the thing about the Civil War and the kind of rounds that are being shot at opposing sides is they're big and they move at a lot slower velocity.
They do more damage to you.
The slower that round moves, the scarier it sounds going through the air, dude. I mean, it'll buzz inside of you can feel it in your ear as if a bee is flying by your ear.
Yeah.
When you get that feeling like a bug almost gets in your ear, you can feel it, right? And the slower that round is moving, the scarier that whole thing becomes.
Yeah.
And having thousands of these huge Manet balls flying through the air at a slow velocity would be terrifying. It would sound, just the thought of having to get up and walk through that would be unbelievable.
And the fact that at the end of it, no one went, okay, that was horrible.
Can we not do this again?
Can we be done now?
No, they doubled down.
I know. That's what's so amazing.
It's like,
I would have just been like, okay, time out. What is going on?
Yeah.
The crazy part is it's not just Antietam either. Like leading up to that, you have had numerous battles with huge losses, right? The Battle of South Mountain, you had Harper's Ferry. I think the whole Maryland campaign, and I think this is counting both sides. I just did this. I did an episode with Brad Gottfried a little bit ago, And I had the numbers figured out at that point. So if I misspeak here, I do apologize. But I think the whole campaign for both sides, I think it's like 70,000 casualties when you consider the beginning of the campaign to the end of the campaign.
He's shaking his finger.
For me, I'm not shaking my finger at you. I'm shaking my finger in agreement.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing to ask Hartwig is by the end of the Maryland campaign, how much of the Army of Northern Virginia was combat effective?
Right.
Bro, I bet you it's like a third maybe.
Yeah. I mean, Army of Potomac's not doing much better.
No.
And that's when people get into this. Why didn't McClellan chase Lee as he pulled out? Same thing with now my brain is going into different places, but same thing with oh my gosh, the commander here.
Meade?
Yes, the same thing with Meade after Gettysburg. Like, why didn't they pursue Lee after the fact? It's because their armies have been decimated. They don't have the same force that they started out with, man. And not to mention, like, all that aside, they also don't have all the supplies they had at the start of this either. They have just expended the majority of their ammunition. They're using all their medical supplies to try to treat all these wounded guys. And now now if you do decide to pursue, you can't just take whoever's still combat effective with you. You have to leave someone behind to manage all these wounded.
In the Maryland campaign, if you think about where they're walking, that's water. There's all kinds of fun diseases you can get from that. I mean, the number of guys that were just out on sick, that decimates your army.
Well, and the Confederates are eating green corn and apples, man. Like, I mean, their intestines are probably
environmentally just Civil War
torn up.
They're biohazard little beings walking around.
And this is coming at the end of a summer of hard campaigning.
Yeah,
and again, as I said, we won't see this kind of level of intensity of campaigning until 1864. And so both armies are very much at basically their end limit. They've hit that wall. And now they have to fight this massive battle for about a day. And and
a lot of people don't count second. A lot of people don't count Second Manassas either. But Second Manassas, I mean, we separated in the campaign thinking. Second Manassas happens a few days before the Battle of South Mountain. I mean, in the grand scheme, it's not like they have all this time off to recuperate. There's I think Lee gives his army 2 days in. It's in Frederick where they hang out and for like 2 days, and then they're on the move again. And from that point on, it's combat almost every day leading up to the Battle of Antietam, and then you have the Battle of Shepherdstown afterwards. So it's
we've
when
just
you
been
think
complaining about moving for 3 days. Can you imagine how we?
Yeah. Well, Mike, everybody's giving you a lot of love here in the comments section. They, a lot of people think that it is a well-deserved whatchamacallit there. And
a well-deserved bubble suit.
And neck brace. Fashionable neck brace.
It does look really fashionable on you.
Dude, honestly, it does. I've kind of forgot that you were wearing it. It looks good.
It's like an AG Today turtleneck.
Yeah, that's funny. Like you were
like a bougie priest or something.
You were given that whole thing with that on. That's pretty good. So what was the other thing I wanted to tell you, Mike? No, that was it. That was all I wanted to tell you.
That we love you.
We love you. We thank you very much for all your support here. And that's about it. Colby,
Matt,
we're gonna take. We'll come back after the. Wait, there was something. I feel like there was something else I wanted to tell y'all.
We're gonna go to break, and you're gonna be like, "Damn it!"
I know.
Well, it's not like we're not coming back.
That's true. We are coming back. We are coming back. So that's what we'll do then. We'll take a break, and we'll be right back after these words.
Want to promote your Gettysburg business? Send an email to sales@addressinggettysburg.com.
Seminary Ridge Museum and Education Center
Gettysburg's premier museum is housed in the historic Lutheran Seminary building constructed in 1832, a witness to the first day of battle. The museum's 3 floors of exhibits connect visitors to the dilemmas that led to the Civil War, provide a powerful and personal view of the battle's first day, and explore one of the battlefield's largest hospitals. No visit to Seminary Ridge Museum and Education Center is complete without a guided tour of the building's famous cupola, where on the eve of battle, officers and civilians saw thousands of Confederate soldiers' campfires burning to the west, and Brigadier General John Buford watched for vital federal reinforcements as fighting erupted on the morning of July 1st. Today, you can stand where Buford stood and discover how this view helped chart the course of the Battle of Gettysburg. Your trip to Gettysburg is not complete without a serious visit to Seminary Ridge Museum and Education Center, Gettysburg's premier museum. Purchase tickets online at seminaryridgemuseum.org or call 717-339-1300.
To get tickets or a cupola tour, listeners may call or walk in and mention addressing Gettysburg, or by ordering online using the promo code AG1863 for 20% off.
Seminary Ridge Museum and Education Center. It began here.
There's a devil to pay.
If you're a lover of history, then go to trhistorical.com. There you'll find apparel, drinkware, decor, and more featuring a wide range of interests from the ancient world to the Cold War. Looking to make an impression with the perfect gift? Well, TR Historical now offers gift cards and a vintage wrapping service for a truly unique presentation. And our listeners will receive 10% off plus free shipping in the U.S. when you use promo code GBERG1863. So go to trhistorical.com, TR Historical, for the love of history.
Think outside the bus and let family-owned Gettysburg Tours take you on a cycling journey across the picturesque and historic Gettysburg battlefield. There's no better way than by bicycle to gain a feel for the terrain of the battlefield. Slow enough to see it all, yet fast enough to do it all. Follow the route of Union troops entering the fray as you ride to the site of the first shots of this epic 3-day battle. Feel the drama as you put yourself in the position of a Confederate soldier just before he steps off to make Pickett's charge. Take a stand with the heroic Colonel Chamberlain on the slopes of Little Round Top, just before you view the fields of honor beneath you from its summit. All of our guides are officially licensed by the National Park Service. So don't get a sore neck trying to see out of your car, and saddle up with Gettysburg Tours for a 360-degree view of America's most important piece of real estate. Gettysburg Tours. Think outside the bus. Go to gettysburg.com or call 717-752-7752 to book a battlefield experience you will never forget.
You've heard us promote various ways that you can help us keep the show going, but one way we haven't pushed too much is our sutlery at addressinggettysburg.com/shop. That's a shame because we have designs over there by talented artists like Ty DeWitt of 1863 Designs and Mike Stretch of the Heritage Depot. So now we're promoting it. Buying shirts, hoodies, mugs, and other items from our sutlery not only helps us keep the lights on, but it also helps guys like Ty and Mike, and it helps spread the word about the show every time you wear an item or you sip from your mug. So head over to addressinggettysburg.com/shop and grab some merch. It's the perfect Christmas gift for the Gettys nerd in your family. That's addressinggettysburg.com/shop.
Have you noticed our revamped website at addressinggettysburg.com? Well, that's the fine work of a man named Mike Stretch, and he also redid our logo for us. Both of them I originally designed, and both of them were originally horrible, but now they're nice, and that's all thanks to Mike. Mike has an awesome t-shirt company called Heritage Depot. There you'll find great designs based on Gettysburg and the Civil War with t-shirts and other types of merchandise. So go to heritage-depot.com and spruce up your Gettys nerd wardrobe. That's heritage-depot.com. Our favorite bookstore in Gettysburg is For the Historian, located at 42 York Street. It's because they have the best selection of Civil War books in Gettysburg, both new and used. And online, they have even more to choose from. And if the Civil War isn't your thing, that's not a problem. This is For the Historian, after all. They cover history from the ancient world to the 21st century with a strong selection of World War II and American Revolution books. It's astounding how many thousands of titles from Osprey, Savas Beatty, UNC Press, and more they have in their store. And that's because, well, they have a warehouse too. And that's where they keep all the books that are available online at forthehistorian.com. And folks, if you go to forthehistorian.com now and order books until you're blue in the face, be sure you mention that you heard about them on Addressing Gettysburg in the Note to Seller box, and they will refund your shipping costs. And if you prefer to stop by when you're in town, well, you could do that too. Just mention Addressing Gettysburg at checkout, and they'll take 20% off the retail price of your item. So go to forthehistorian.com or stop by 42 York Street, or you can call them at 717-685-5207. That's forthehistorian.com or 717-685-5207.
You're listening to Address.
You're listening to the man who refuses to travel while single. I love that I never read these before I start doing it. Okay, all right. You're listening to the man who refuses to travel while single. Here's Matt. You've been McNaird.
All right, we're back. So I have something to share with you here, ladies and gentlemen. It is a message from our friend Casey Turbin, who is the head of the Addressing Gettysburg Film Club, and here it is.
Good afternoon, Matthew. It is I, Casey Turbin, the leader of AG Film Club, just checking in to remind everybody that we have a meeting this coming Tuesday, November 7th at 8 p.m., also Election Day for all of our civic-minded folks. I wanted to make the tradition of calling in and giving a few folks a few facts every time we do this. So I'm going to go ahead and let you guys know this film is a massive 3 hours and 40 minutes long, but it could have been much worse because producer David O. Selznick, when he bought the rights to the film, had a group figure out how long it would take to adapt the entire 1,000-page book into film, and they came back with the result that it would take 168 hours of film time. That's huge.
Yeah.
Hattie McDaniels also becomes the first African-American to win an Oscar with her performance of Mammy, which is a nickname which is full of all sorts of racial tropes, which we will talk about in Film Club. But there's also the actress that plays Prissy. She gets her name from when she came from Shakespeare. She did a performance of A Midsummer's Night Dream, where her unique dancing style earned her the nickname Butterfly, and she changed her name from Thelma to Butterfly McQueen legally. So that's a fun few facts. One more, all of the burning scenes were done on the back lot of MGM using old sets. I thought that was kind of fun. For anything else, you got to hop on the email list, which is agfilmclub1863@gmail.com. That's coming up this Tuesday, Tuesday the 7th at 8 p.m. So thanks for letting everybody know. We'll talk to y'all soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, Casey.
loved him.
Isn't he something? He actually does a really good job with this. He's
fantastic.
Him and Steve Byers with the book club. They're just great because they just do it.
Yeah.
You know, and they really enjoy it, and everybody that's a part of it really loves it, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So I like that. Now, Gone with the Wind. Have you ever seen Gone with the Wind? I would imagine you have.
That is the most ridiculous question you've ever asked me.
I haven't seen it until like
Frankly,
7
my
years
dear,
ago.
I just don't give a damn.
There you go, Colby. Obviously, you've
it was a
seen
long
it.
time before I saw it beginning to end.
Right.
I probably had seen the whole thing several times, bits and pieces.
My God, I've
but
seen it
was
like
a few years ago that I
100
finally
times.
saw it all the way through.
War. All they ever talk about is war. It ruins all the parties and the barbecues.
So you have seen it.
The best,
Okay,
the best
then,
scene in that
Scarlett.
whole movie, though, like from a cinematic standpoint, is the pull out shot from when she's walking through all the wounded Confederates.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
That is a good shot.
That's when they made movies too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, David O. Selznick was like, that was an era.
Oh, yeah.
Of cinematography that we'll never get back again.
Epic.
Now,
We did
did you
Steven
know?
Spielberg though, so we are kind of fortunate in that sense.
We do.
Well, but where do you think he learned all this stuff from?
I mean, yeah, you copy the greats and pick up the things along the way without a doubt. But
In that movie, one of the Tarleton brothers that's at the beginning that she's talking to there is later goes on to play Superman.
Oh.
Who? Which?
The original movie one.
What was his name?
Whose name I can't think of right now.
Shit. I can't remember. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but he's one of the. Yeah, he bleeped way after.
A little late.
Oh shit.
Sorry for the lag, everybody.
Apologies, Estella. I know you say it's your favorite movie, but I despise that movie.
It's not a good.
Someone's saying someone's mic is
well.
too low; they can't hear. I don't know which person they're.
Yeah, who are you talking about, Marcia? All the levels are looking good, but go ahead, keep going while we're waiting for the answer.
I don't remember where I was going with it.
So sorry.
I said I despised the movie, and you said it.
Oh, it does. It didn't age well.
No.
George Reeves.
George Reeves.
Yeah. Thank you, Barbara.
Yeah. So
now wait a second. Is it George Reeves or George Reeve? And is it Christopher Reeves or Christopher Reeve? Because I always get this confused.
Christopher Reeves.
So then it's George Reeve.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's also Bass Reeves too.
Oh, just to confuse things even
And then there's
further.
also Bat Masterson.
Yep.
True.
A lot of names
He's
that
the
are
one.
cool.
Is Bat Masterson the one that got drugged behind the horse in Tombstone?
So wait, so Casey's saying it's George Reeves. Whatever. What was that, Colby?
In Tombstone, it's getting down to the point where Doc Holliday is getting ready to have his show off with Johnny Ringo.
Right.
And I believe Bat Masterson ends up getting drugged behind one of the Cowboys' horses, and they drop him off in front of the house that Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday and all them are in.
Oh, that's supposed to be Bat Masterson?
I think it's Bat. I
didn't know he was out there with them.
I think that's how he ended up.
No, wasn't that
Bat Masterson.
No, wasn't that one of the Cowboys that went over to the Wyatt Earp side and then
I think it's Bat, because I think when they ride up to him, they're like, "Who is it?" And it's Bat. They think they say it's Bat.
What if they say it's Matt?
Might be Matt.
I doubt it.
Matt Clanton. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I'd have to watch that again.
Maybe someone in the comments will know.
Anyway, just check. I guess it's this coming Tuesday. Already.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. The months just fly by these days.
I'm pretty sure October didn't actually exist.
I know. October didn't exist. None of them existed.
It didn't. It was
just all flew by.
Taylor's birthday. That's what October was.
The whole month. Well, all right. Well, so now, Beth, do you want to try it with the?
No, I'm not prepared for that one.
Oh, by the way, and somebody was saying this in the comments here, and this is what I meant to say. I couldn't remember at the end of the last segment, but a few days ago we were doing a drive, and someone and I can't remember who. If you're watching now, please let us know in the comments. But somebody said that we should do for the network I'm trying to put together. We should have a show with Lentz and call it The Seventh Question with Mike as the host. And I think the idea should be that he poses a question and then explores the answers to that question. Because here's the secret, ladies and gentlemen: when Six Question sends a question in on one of the Ask a Guide shows, he knows the answers.
Yeah, he's already
he already knows the answers
for a while.
But that's why there's such good questions, because he knows the answers, and the guides like them because they know the answers. Yeah,
Well, sometimes it's nice to get a different opinion on something.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was McMasters who got dragged.
I was seeing that JD in the comments there.
Yeah, but Bat Masterson wasn't.
I guess he didn't. I'm thinking. I'm thinking to myself, Bat Masterson didn't die then. I think he died much later. But he was.
But that wasn't.
He was there when Wyatt Earp apparently killed. What's the leader of the Cowboys?
Curly Bill.
He's there for that. I think Bat Masterson is there for that, because Bat Masterson starts out a cowboy. I'm pretty sure.
No, I think you're thinking of McMasters. Because Bat Masterson, I don't think is in Tombstone at all with them during that time. At least, I think he's back in Abilene or where.
They mention him.
I forget my Wyatt Earp history.
They mention him in
Dodge.
Tombstone.
Isn't Bat Masterson in Dodge? They meet somewhere else.
Wasn't there a show about Bat Masterson?
I think there was.
I'm pretty sure that was like my dad's.
Somebody in the comments will know the answer to this, and they can answer us here. So, okay, what else? Oh, Harry Stillwell. See, Tom's saying it's so. Guitar Zan says JD is right. Tom Canavan says Harry Stillwell is the person. But then, yes, JD, you are correct. Okay, so yeah. All right, well, yeah. It was Ty Webb's idea to do the seventh question. There you go. All right. Well, you're not ready to do your headlines.
Do the funny one.
I don't know if it's going to be considered funny.
You removed the thing, but that's okay.
Well, here we go.
And now, all the news that's fit to print and a good deal that's not. With AG Today's lead anchor, Bethany Yingling.
I haven't heard the singing over this yet.
Oh, I like the car crash sound.
I feel like Michael Scott made this.
But see, he took away the part that I loved the most about the original.
Oh,
which was him saying, because that's what we said already. Like he was,
I love how you played. I love how you played with the headphones on that. You have his voice go panning from left to right.
From left to right.
Really good.
All right. So what have you got there?
Okay, so I'm gonna save the Saberhood last.
All right.
Man,
Save the best
I've been
for
on the
last.
edge of my seat.
I know. Too bad. All right, so there was this past weekend the Autumn Gettysburg Civil War and Militaric show at the All-Star.
Militaric?
Militaric.
I didn't even know that was a word.
I didn't either.
Militaria?
That's what I
did.
Yeah,
Well,
I
maybe
think
I
that's
did
a typo.
I typed it.
Oh, yeah.
At the All-Star Complex.
All right.
Did everybody go see that?
No, but I do enjoy that show.
There was a Maryland sword belt plate that was valued at $3,500 that was stolen.
Oh my God! What is it with this? Was it Ted Bundy?
No, I don't think it was Ted Bundy.
We don't have a picture of this one.
No, I don't think so. So it happened. It seemed to have happened after they shut down.
Okay.
So in the nerd world that my husband goes to for gaming conventions and stuff, when you work in that means it was like another vendor or somebody who works at the venue.
Yeah.
That would have stolen, because he noticed it was there when he left at the end of the day, and then he called the police the next morning when he noticed it was missing.
So you mean like someone who works for the venue, not a vendor?
It could be either.
Could have been either one.
But the general public was not there. Is what I'm
Right.
saying.
Okay. So it's an inside job of some sort.
I hate thieves.
You hate thieves,
Dude, it's just, I don't know. It just seems like one of those things like, bro, what are you doing? What are you doing taking something? Like that. It just seems so childish. And
well, we've had two, like Boom Boom. Now the guy who took it from the Historical Society, Ted Bundy.
Ted Bundy
was that's the name he wrote on the auction form.
Which is honestly, if we just look at that a little closer, that's troublesome, right? Why would Ted Bundy be the name that he goes?
I thought that was a little weird too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ted Bundy.
He could have put Brad Pitt. You know what I mean?
Right.
Whatever.
Right.
But
Exactly.
he
Mickey
goes-
Mouse.
He goes with Ted Bundy.
Yeah.
So he's probably has somebody in his basement cutting into small.
Oh God.
Anyway, if anybody knows anything, please call the Cumberland Township Police.
Okay, there you go.
Also, there was.
All right, wait. Sorry, 1 second. It was McMaster's.
I've been
Somebody
I've
just
been
looked it up.
reading them.
Okay.
I love, dude, the comment section is hysterical.
Yeah.
Because it's not with every topic. It's always with the offshoot topics. And it will just become about that.
Yeah.
And I appreciate it. I do appreciate it. It shows people are paying attention, and then there's like a little bit of a side conversation going on.
Mm-hmm.
But guys, I'm giving you the news, gosh darn it.
Oh, sorry. It's time for the news.
You're supposed to only be paying attention to me right now. I'm kidding.
Gene,
Do whatever you want.
Gene says they don't pack or lock their stuff up every night of the show. No, typically
No, of course
places
not.
they don't.
No, because the idea is that they're going to lock the place for you and probably have some kind of security.
The venue will lock the
Right.
place. And when we go to nerd conventions, like even the really, really big ones, you just throw sheets over your stuff.
Yeah.
And walk away and then
Mhm.
hope it's still there. I mean, you take your money from the cash till or whatever,
Right.
but you walk away and hope it's still there.
I think it's funny that you call it a till. I mean, it's I'm not making fun. I just think it's interesting. I don't hear that often. Till
No,
like,
you
Yeah.
don't.
yeah.
Go to the till.
I'm from Clarion.
But the Hanan Sinane says, tell the truth, kids. You tried to draw trick drawing a tin cup after watching Tombstone. Don't lie. So true. I couldn't, first of all, I wanted to find one like Doc Holliday had.
I know.
To do that and carry around with me, but I could never find one.
Dude, when I was a kid, I'd walk around just going, say when.
Yeah.
I'm Yokelberry.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, that is by far his coolest character ever.
Oh, he's the best.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And his accent is freaking spot on.
Yep.
It's he crushed that.
He did. He did.
And I like Dennis Quaid a lot as an actor, but he
Sure.
blew Dennis Quaid out of the water.
Well, that was the unfortunate thing is those two movies came out at the same time. Go ahead, Beth.
And clearly
Thanks.
one is better
Thanks,
than the
Matt.
other.
Clearly.
So, some exciting history nerd news. There was a room discovered in the Jenny Wade birthplace. I
saw that.
I guess the owner has been looking at a portion of the house and thinking this doesn't actually line up with what I know is on the inside.
Right. And that's where we find the letters, the new letters. No, I'm just kidding.
No. So this was her birthplace. She didn't live there for her entire life.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So they cut a little hole in the bathroom wall and looked in, and there was a whole extra piece of the room in there with original wallpaper.
Why would you close up a part of the room?
Like they just wanted to make
Apparently,
the room smaller?
according to Andrew Dalton on the article, that this was a common practice. Like you just
Wait, would it lower your taxes or something?
maybe. I have no idea.
Okay.
He didn't go into detail as to why that was, but he said like this does happen.
Yeah, no, because I've seen it in other old houses too.
Did they just want the room to be smaller?
Maybe.
I mean, maybe, but why?
I don't get it.
I don't
'Cause
either.
you're
I mean,
saying
it's
it was
less
just
to heat.
It was just
Oh,
a portion.
you
It
see-
was just a portion of the room. It wasn't.
Yeah, it was like a
other
3
room.
foot by 8 foot section.
But that's a good point you bring up there, Beth. It was you still it's less to heat, and that like when they think of
Which I think would be my normal thing to say, except for this particular room, because they said in the wall there was the hole for the stove.
yeah.
So that's where the heating source would have
Was.
originally been. So, like, okay, like why that wall in particular?
Yeah, that is strange.
Maybe
Yeah, but there was old wallpaper and everything.
Oh,
Like,
that's
Something
cool.
really
A really-
gnarly happened in that part of the room, and they just wanted to block
Cool
it off.
find.
You know,
Like a murder.
yeah.
Colby,
Murder.
we have to go there.
What?
Why
Colby.
not? That's fun.
All right, a homicide.
Right.
So,
Brain bits and everything on the wall, and they just wanted to block it up.
what was what was the wallpaper? Like, what era was it from? Do they
They
know?
said there were multiple layers.
Oh,
So
okay.
it encompassed multiple layers.
I never understood wallpaper.
You never understood wallpaper?
No.
Have you ever tried to take off?
Oh my God, it's terrible.
Now,
man.
here's
Or put
what
it
I
on.
wish they had
Gotta
done
put it in the
article,
bathtub.
is tell us like what the most recent layer was.
Yeah, that's what I want to know. What was
Yeah.
the top layer?
Like how old the top layer was?
Yes.
Yeah, because then it would give you an idea of when the wall was put in
place. Yeah.
I bet you early 1900s if I'm just taking a stab in the dark here.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I would say the 1930s.
Yep, there you go.
I,
30s.
I would include that in the early 1900s though. Like
Well,
Depression
I
era.
think that's earlier. When you say early 1900s, I'm thinking like 1912.
Adrian says, guys, it's Beth and Nee's news, not Colby and Matt's news.
I was like,
we listen. This is why Cindy has been such a great addition because we do this even in our private conversations at dinner.
It just interrupts everybody.
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
I like this Redoubt Productions idea, Jenny Wade escape room. Let's go.
Oh my god! And you have to crawl through the little hole they put in the wall.
Right? Brian says, when an AG fan says nerd convention, how nerdy do you have to be?
Yeah, really.
Guys, okay, I'm gonna do a segue now.
All
This
right,
is
go
how
ahead.
nerdy you have to be.
Go.
The very Oh, I thought you muted
I
me.
muted myself. No. You're quite all
You
right.
bastard.
You're still okay. Don't worry about it.
So the very first nerd convention I ever went to, we were at the Host in Lancaster, and there was this big air conditioning grate in the wall, like a huge section of the wall was this air conditioning grate, and there was a sign posted on it, and I was like, let's go over and read the sign, and it said, if you have not bathed in the past 48 hours, please do not stand in front of this vent. That's the kind of nerd we're dealing with.
Oh my God.
Back to the news.
I don't even know how to wrap my thoughts around that.
Oh my.
Ew, where was that?
This was at a historical war gaming miniature
Oh,
convention.
that's so horrendous.
I'm just telling you.
If you haven't bathed in 48 hours.
Please do not stand in front of this air conditioning vent.
I mean, it makes sense.
And I said to my husband, well, we weren't married then, and I looked at him and I said, what the hell did you get me into? And he's like, it's really not that bad, Bethany, I swear. I'm like,
That's
and
funny.
yet you stayed.
And yet I married him. That's the worst part, guys. And there's another one this weekend. So he's going to be there this weekend. But anyway, some exciting news coming out of the Lincoln Cemetery here in Gettysburg, which is the African cemetery that's over by the rec park. They have finished their survey of the land. And for a long time, people thought it wasn't a full cemetery. It is actually full. They have found the remains of either human remains or of tombstones for an additional 136 unmarked graves. The cemetery is very important in the history of Gettysburg. There are 440 African American citizens of Gettysburg buried there, including 30 U.S. colored troops and someone who is personally, close to my heart, Mr. Basil Biggs.
Oh, yes.
So, this is a huge deal. Like, they
It
finally
is.
got the funding to go and do these ground penetrating radar surveys. And first of all, it's cool as hell.
Right.
And second of all, they found and graves, and Gene Green has said that they're in places that you would never think why did they put a body there? Because it didn't look like that 160 years ago. So you have to it almost takes you back in time on what that whole little area right there actually looked like.
I don't know if you read the same article I did about it, but there was an interesting tidbit where it said that the radar only picks up ones that had coffins.
Because
so
of what it
all
leaves
they
behind.
did was put them in a shroud.
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing.
There's
they
nothing,
can't even
yeah.
see that the ground was disturbed.
Yeah.
That doesn't pick that up at all. So there's a potential
to be
that
even
there
more
could
there.
have been more there
Ooh.
that they just can't. The technology can't pick up.
And you would have to dig for those ones because
Yeah.
the human body would leave a residue behind.
Yeah.
That you would be able to pick up, but you would have to dig in order.
A grease stain.
A grease stain.
More
Literally
Yes.
a grease
No,
stain.
I know. That's what they told me it's called.
Yeah.
Gross.
But exciting.
Oh, it's very
for
exciting.
history.
Yes. No.
Yeah.
But I mean, the grease stain is gross.
Well, yes.
Yes.
They call it grease.
Yeah. That's more than we need to know.
Mm-hmm.
This is very exciting for me. Okay. So earlier in one of my first news reports, I reported about this story and it has come full circle. So, the little pig that was missing, Kevin Bacon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Did
he go to the market?
It has come full circle, and the legit Kevin Bacon has commented on his Threads feed, bring Kevin Bacon home. The pig itself has been featured in People and other major news
No
stations.
kidding.
Yes.
Because he ran away?
Because he ran away and his name was Kevin Bacon.
Okay.
And that they did the hashtag bring Kevin Bacon home.
Did the actor get in on this?
Yes.
That's
He,
what he
he
said.
Oh,
yeah.
my God.
No way.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
That's
He
pretty
shared the
cool.
article and with the hashtag bring Kevin Bacon home. And he has returned the pig, not the actor. They were able to capture him this past Tuesday, and he is now safe at home.
Maybe the actor will come and visit him and get a picture with him now.
That would be
never know.
amazing.
Yeah.
That would be hysterical. Dude.
But
It
I
would
mean,
be.
Yeah.
this pig, this
The
poor
little piggy's
pig
footloose.
has gone
Has gone to
viral.
market. Yes. Well, that's
he
good
has
for him.
no
That's good for, yeah, he has no clue, right?
Yeah.
Kevin Bacon has no clue.
But how cute is
But
that?
the other
the
Kevin
family
Bacon
puts
does.
this out to let people know, like, don't approach the pig.
Right.
Call us if you see it. And
Don't
it
approach
goes,
the
It
pig.
literally goes to the actor.
Yeah.
His name.
Yeah. And, like, that's just so cool to me.
Don't
the power
approach
of
the
internet.
pig. He's believed to be armed and delicious. Thank you.
We got to take away that laugh. That's got to go. He's way too happy
No,
about
I
it.
know. That's
Okay.
terrible. All right.
Finally.
Hey, you
on-
know what? Go self.
That might be the next one.
Yeah, that was the next one. Two things
Go.
need to go from that board.
Go ahead.
So now that is the last of my modern news stories. So we can talk about Saberhood.
Oh, I've been waiting for this all day. Let's hear it.
Well, you're gonna get the news version right now.
So the fake version?
No, the news version. So Saberhood has announced, the owner of Saberhood of the building.
The building,
Not the Saberhood
not the
brand.
business.
Okay, the owner of the
Brian.
building has announced that he will be taking over the Saberhood
Management.
and they will be rebranding as Lincoln Social,
Yeah,
a
don't like that.
Gettysburg food market. Their opening day is November 30th with a big grand opening shindig extravaganza on December 2nd.
Now, Matt, is the one that we've met when we've gone there? Who's the guy that we've talked to a few times?
Steve.
He's like he was the manager. Or
He was he and his
of
wife
Saberhood.
Judy were the owners who started it. They were the ones behind it.
So some changes will be made to Saberhood or to Lincoln Social. They will now accept cash.
Good.
Previously, they only accepted credit.
I think that one is a good change.
They do have some new food vendors who will be joining them, including, I hear, a new bar.
Yeah. Now, yeah, right. Because Liquid Art went bankrupt and they closed all of their locations all over the place.
Yeah. So there wasn't one. It was BYOB, the sign said recently.
Right.
And they're going to be more involved with community events. I was talking to a friend of mine who owns one of the booths or does one of the booths. And she said that like one of the things they're planning on doing is a ball drop for kids for New Year's Eve.
Oh,
that's
fun.
You know, things like that.
Yeah.
So there's amazing potential for what this place can be, but what's really coming out of it is the vendors themselves now have more of a say in what's going to be happening.
Yeah, I talked to Tony, who is the husband of the husband-wife team that have Latin fusion or Latino fusion, which I love the rice bowls, ladies and gentlemen. If you get a chance, get their rice bowls. And so we were talking about it, and I said, so who do I talk to? I have a party planned for December 9th, here in the back room, and there's no bar, and who's in charge? Do I still have, are you going to be open? What's the deal? He's like, no, we'll be open. I'm like, okay, well, what's the deal with it? Like, what's going on? So he told me, basically what had happened, and he's like, but, we're all kind of co-opting or co-opting. Is it co-opting or they're cooperating with each other? And it's not
Same
co-opting.
letters, just different
they're not
emphasis.
co-opting. They're co-oping. They're all going to kind of manage it together.
Yes, it's going to be like a collective thing as opposed to an owner with renters.
And they're trying to work out what the vendors' rents will be. I don't know if they have yet or not, but because I said to him, I go, well, I like the place, but there's two complaints I hear constantly.
Yeah.
No cash, too damn expensive.
The prices are. I haven't been in a long time just because of that.
Right. And, me too. I had to stop going because I was looking at my bank account. I'm like, well, I'm spending way too much money at this place. And not only that, but like everywhere else. And by the way, I have boycotted tipping. I'm done tipping because everywhere you go, they ask for tips.
You sound like Mr. Pink from Reservoir Dogs.
Reservoir Dogs. I don't remember what is. He has a problem with tipping.
Yeah, at the beginning of the movie.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I don't have a problem with tipping. I will tip, but I'm done with this. Like, I have to serve myself. I have to do everything, and I got to tip you for doing what you're getting paid to do. Like, I don't know. I'm not doing that anymore. But anyway, that's beside the point. So I said those are the big complaints that I had and that other people had, and he said that they're aware of that. And he's like, hopefully what we're going to work out with the rent will be something that will enable us to lower our prices. And I said, well, yeah, I mean, because like people would come here more often on a regular basis. But like, $32 for a rice bowl, now it's I add meats to it. So it's not, it's like I get a carnitas rice bowl and then I add shrimp to it because I'm an idiot. And I love it. Yeah, it's so good, But I mean, and then you got to put a tip in there, and I tip them because I like them and they're nice and everything. So then next thing you know, I'm paying $32 for a rice bowl and a drink and the tip, and I have to go and get my stuff. I've got to serve myself.
Yeah, Mark and I took Ezra there one time, and it was $82, and we had, Ezra's 3. He's not eating.
Right. Well, that was the other thing is there's no options for
kids. No, and I suggested about having drinks for kids because the closest kid drink they have is that high C Kool-Aid.
Right.
And as much as I love that as a drink, Ezra drinks that and he's going to be running around like a lunatic. So can we just, I don't know, have milk or something? It's not that hard.
Yeah, I think they've heard all these complaints and they're going to make some adjustments and everything. Yes. And I love the idea of the place. I think the food is really good there. Yes. I hope it doesn't go away because I think we need it.
I think for a bus coming in.
Yeah, for season, I think it's phenomenal.
Yeah, because you have all those people and nobody wants to eat the same thing.
Right.
And yada, yada. And like as a tour.
For a family of 5
a person who runs historical bus events.
Town too.
I would be going there in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Whenever I had programming.
Yeah. What'd you say, Cole?
It helps us out as locals too because it keeps them out of town. The roundabout doesn't get all congested.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. We should all push people towards Savorhood so we could have the town back to ourselves.
Lincoln Social.
Let's work on it. We need
Lincoln
Social. We need them in the town a little bit, but
Can I say I don't like the name Lincoln Social? I don't. That doesn't tell me that I can eat there.
It sounds like a place you go and have
like a social hall.
Yeah, it sounds like some kind of newfangled.
It's an old version of what used to be a restaurant, a social hall.
They have them out in Denver a lot.
Right.
Social houses and stuff. But I'm with you, Matt. The name doesn't work. Savorhood works.
Yeah, I mean, savor food. It sounds like neighborhood.
Well, now it's been there long enough that I'm never going to remember Lincoln Social. I'm always going to call it Savorhood. It's unfortunate, but it's true.
Kevin says, Matt, I followed your tipping rules because of your rants. Smart man, Kevin.
Jamie,
Smart man.
You. I'm going to miss those cookies.
Yeah, the cookies, they're gone.
Yeah, that.
Oh, what happened to the cookie place?
Closed. I think she found a place in Hanover. I haven't talked to her, but that's what I heard is that she might have found a place out in Hanover.
Those are pretty good cookies.
They're very good
yeah,
cookies.
Those are the best snickerdoodles ever.
Yeah, I was thinking that's exactly the ones I was thinking of, the snickerdoodles.
Yep.
They were good.
All right, now I have my old news.
All right, old news.
Okay.
We need a theme song for this.
Old news. Yeah. Bethany has old news. Hey.
Well, there you go, man.
There you go. Perfect.
There you go. Okay, so these are some of the headlines from years ago. November 3rd, 1863, in the Adams Sentinel. This I found very interesting because you never think about this. The headline is, "Whose father was he?" And it is the first mention of what we now know was the Amos Humiston photo in the newspaper, and talking about that the photo was found and how it was found and how sad it was, and that the photo has been sent to a gentleman in Philadelphia and giving you the address if you know more information. So I thought that was interesting. All the way in November 3rd, we're talking about, and for it to be in the Gettysburg paper at least, mentioned. Okay. This was funny to me. November 3rd, 1913, in the Gettysburg Times. I actually picked 2. They start talking, the headline is, "Lincoln Highway Developments, Interest Becoming More and More General, Western States Especially Active in Promoting the Big Movement." So this is everybody raising money, $10 million, in order to help with the building of the Lincoln Highway. And talking about how, hey, everybody out west is getting on board. What the hell are you doing? Is pretty much the gist of the article. So
if the people who don't even live here are bored with this.
Well, would have been out that way. Would have been going through. So basically get your butt on the train here. We're trying to raise money. And then the other one, this cracks me up. The article is Motorcycle Run. 17 motorcyclists come to Gettysburg on endurance run. Okay. And I'm thinking, man, how far did these 17 motorcyclists come that they're in headline on the Gettysburg newspaper for an endurance run? Oh my goodness. Harrisburg.
And when was this one?
This is November 3rd, 1913.
Well,
liters. You got a small liters? Yeah, mine's small too. This is the only time I feel like a big man.
He stood as erect as I am now.
All right, enough with that. Go ahead.
But now we have thousands and thousands of motorcycles that come through, and this was 17, and it made the front page in the newspaper. Now I have
1913. That's not quite as common,
I guess, but an
yeah.
endurance
They
run
wouldn't
from
have-
Harrisburg.
I mean, the motorcycle
Yeah.
is relatively new still at that point.
But isn't that funny though that there's like already a society or a culture forming around it, and it's a fairly new
A motorcycle
thing.
culture, yep.
It's well,
It doesn't take us long to.
the continuation of the horse, though, in a way. You know, like even if you look at you look at American-made motorcycles and European-made motorcycles, the reason why like you see a Harley and legs are extended like a Western
Horse.
cowboy
Oh, yeah.
would ride on a saddle. Well, you look at the crotch rockets that are made over in Europe; their legs are high up like they would be riding in European-style horseback riding with the legs up high. So it's I think in a weird way there's like a draw to it because of that. There's
That's
like
a great observation.
I actually saw it on a documentary. On
That is a great recitation of something somebody else has said.
I mean, that was back when the History Channel was still doing documentaries.
Yeah, back when they did history, right?
So I'm going to skip the 1942 and come back to it because it's one of my favorites.
All right.
All right. So now we have November 3rd, 1986, a perfect year when I was born, in the Gettysburg Times. So I picked two. Front page, everything in place for Tuesday election. They are testing for the first time the use of electronic voting machines in Adams County.
Oh, wow.
Also, the life-size bronze statue of Eisenhower that was in front of the Hall of Presidents.
Yeah.
Was placed by the Heritage Inns of Gettysburg. That one was done by Ivo Zini of Pittsburgh. He also did the wax figures of the first ladies in the Wax Museum.
Okay.
What are you
Okay.
laughing at now?
No.
Getting ready to address the Christmas party.
Yes.
I can tell.
Yeah. How'd you? Yeah. Great.
I could see you reading it, and I've been reading it too. I was waiting for it.
No. Okay, somebody says, because I didn't finish before. Marie says, "So is the Christmas party still on?" According to Tony, everything is going to be normal. Everything's going to be okay. They're going to have like pop-up breweries come by and set up for a while until they find a permanent brewery. I don't know who's going to. Maybe I can request somebody. I don't know. But yeah, supposedly it's still going on.
Yay!
Do you have a backup? Do you have a backup?
Well,
location just
so
in
the
case?
thing is, my
Rep
backup.
house.
Can we?
I don't know.
What?
No.
It might be too small.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is everywhere. Like I think we've exceeded the number that other people can fit.
What's your number?
What are we at?
Yeah.
I don't know. We're over like 60, I think.
What about the MVC?
The what?
The MVC.
The what?
Museum and
Visitor
Visitor
Center.
Center.
They'll charge us. Saverhood wasn't charging us.
Also, they don't have alcohol.
Also, they don't have alcohol.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't. No.
Yes, they do. They have cash bar.
No, we'd have to hire the cash bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. The whole thing with Saverhood is
it's already there.
And
Gotcha.
they're just letting us use the
fine.
space.
Fine.
And then they're going to make
fine.
money off of the people buying their own food and drink.
Can I do my 1942 news?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So November
May
2nd,
proceed.
1942 from the Gettysburg Times. I'm going to read the headlines for you because this is a big day. United States driving hard for supremacy in the air. Yank flyers, warplanes are superior. U.S. subs sink 7 Japanese ships, damage 3, and set fire to carrier. Roosevelt asks for further war powers of Congress. And then rush work on survey of all skilled help in Adams County, meaning they're figuring out what everybody can do.
Everything's about the war effort.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, now, above the fold, right next to all of this, hotel night clerk resigns position.
That's great.
The night clerk at the Hotel Gettysburg resigned, and they have not replaced him. So Stanley F. Polozukevsky.
Oh, that's a good one.
Bring that notebook a little lower. You kind of shadowing out your face there.
You're blocking your face.
Has resigned his position to take up writing for a newspaper outside of Boston, and they have not replaced him. Highly important.
To this day, they haven't replaced him?
Well, no, but at that point in
I'm
time,
sure.
they hadn't replaced him. And we're talking about the war and all the horrible things that are happening and how Adams County is mobilizing. But heaven forbid, the night
We
clerk
don't know.
at the
Maybe
Hotel
that guy
Gettysburg.
was like,
What?
maybe that guy was super good at
I
his
was
job.
gonna
You
say,
know, like
how
he
good
he
his
couldn't be replaced. You know,
He's
Irreplaceable.
irreplaceable.
yeah.
A
cracked
beloved
me up.
member of the
My irreplaceable you. Yeah.
So I'm reading all these articles and I'm like really getting into it. And I'm like, oh my God, like something crazy must have been happening. And then right big bold, right dead center above the fold.
Hotel
night clerk.
Man, it must have been a slow news week. Like, everybody was over the whole war thing.
Exactly.
You
So
got
those are the old ones.
All right, and let's see here. I don't have my old board set up, so let's see.
What's there to do and see this weekend? Here's Valerie's Veronica.
It's an old one.
It's all covered.
What happened with that was I have the old live this weekend over here still.
Yeah.
I just didn't get around to making a separate one for you yet. But did you like that song? Because that was
didn't
in
care one
the
way or the other.
okay. Because
I do want to point out that
feel
he
like-
did do this.
that's right.
Esquire.
Now on the other side is still Veronica's, which
Yeah.
it should be.
Right, because that's what happens when you
and
flip
mine's
it over.
on the other side.
Yeah, no. So Bethany. So there's this little. What I don't even know what this is from. Oh, it's from I think a sign that came one time, and it was in to protect it, in the packaging, and I had just written Veronica Bristensky Esquire on it, and it kind of became a placemat that sat in front of her chair, and the guest also when we do the history shows sits there, and then so today I made Bethany's. So she has a Bethany Yingling Esquire.
I was so proud.
There you
First
go.
thing I saw when I walked in, I went,
You
oh.
were very happy about that. You were very happy about
Yeah.
that. Yes.
Okay.
All right. So go ahead.
Events.
Events. And by the way, go ahead.
Okay. So this tomorrow, it's the Seminary Ridge 24 Hours on the Ridge extravaganza.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
With the luminary at 8 p.m. I want to reiterate that because last week we kind of botched the time. But it is on at 8 a.m. on the 3rd, aka tomorrow. So you can go out and see their little luminary on the ridge. But
8 p.m.
Yes, what did I say?
A.m.
Dang it. I botched it again. God, I suck. Okay. But anyway, they're doing their 24 hours on the ridge. Please go out and support because it's a super cool idea. Second
it's a very
of all,
super cool idea.
They just stayed up all night in order to get you to donate to them. So
And you know what
please
else?
Take advantage.
You know what else, by the way, is to go to the Seminary Ridge Museum and Education Center when it's open is cool, right? It's it's cool. It's a nice place. But to go there after hours and after dark and after midnight,
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
that is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Doing it after midnight. I think, because especially if you can go up in the cupola,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that would be cool up
it
there.
is. Have you ever been up there in the dark?
No.
It's dark.
You can dance in the dark up there.
You can dance in the dark. You can do a lot of things in the dark.
Do you wear
can
your
look-
sunglasses at night?
Of course I do.
But that's not because he's cool. It's because he has eye problems.
I have eye problems. Any kind of light. I'm very light sensitive. These are very special glasses that I'm wearing that I got off of Amazon for $15. Really, if you get the chance, ladies and gentlemen, you got to go out there. And,
really cool.
And if you
Great
can stay
idea.
up, and they watch movies,
Mhm.
and then you go up into the cupola, and you could go more than once. Like it's not like we only do it at this time and that. Well, I mean, I'm sure they're going to say, all right, we're all going up again, and you can go up there. Cody or Pete or whoever will bring you up there will point things out, but it's just cool to sit up there in the quiet, in the darkness, looking at the rooftops of town.
Mm-hmm.
As people sleep.
Mary says after midnight she's going to let it all hang out. I don't really know what she means by that.
And it's going to cause talk and suspicion. She's going to give an exhibition.
I bet you a lot more people are going to.
We going to find out what it is all about. There you go. You know it. You know it. Wait a second. Hold on. Somebody said old news needs old brass band music with step right up cheeky narration, but short. Not like a 10-minute intro, as self-indulging as it sounds, Matt. All right, Heinous and Nene, you won. Best South Park episode ever, by the way, Heinous and Nene says, is about motorcycle culture, and that's absolutely true. Go ahead.
Also, this weekend, of course, we're going in. We're going to be dealing with Veterans Day the next week, so we should probably talk about some of the things that are happening for that. On November 11th, the Beyond the Battle is doing this really interesting program called Serpents of War: An American Officer's Story of Combat and Captivity in World War I. It follows the story of Major Harry Dravo Perkin. And it looks like it's going to be a cry thing, so just be prepared. But it is from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. There's a $10 admission. And Stephen Trout from the University of Alabama and Ian Isherwood, I hope I'm saying your name right, from Gettysburg College will be the presenters on that. And it just looks really interesting. The little synopsis, if you get a chance to go on their website and read it, it looks like it's going to be pretty gut-wrenching. Well, so just be prepared.
World War I, for the longest time, it was this war that like no one ever really paid attention to, at least in my since I've been alive. Like the early part of my life seemed like World War I just was overshadowed so much by World War II that it really never got mentioned, it never got talked about. But man, it's such a fascinating time in military history and in combat, and it's making a comeback big. I mean, there's Martin Scorsese's documentary, They Shall Not Grow Old, and all that coming out. It's just it's cool that it's getting attention again.
That was Peter Jackson.
No, I thought that was Martin Scorsese.
No, I think he has one coming out, doesn't he?
I don't know. Jackson? All right, my apologies. Peter Jackson.
Better apologize.
I would say there's a scene right when it goes to color in that documentary.
Yes.
You're looking at these soldiers are walking along this like ridge, like this small mound ridge, and it's muddy, and they have on their full loadout, right? So it's heavy. They're all kind of hunched forward under the weight. Dude, I cannot tell you how much that looks like it still does now. When guys are walking like with their full hump load. Dude, I saw that and I was like, oh my God, it hasn't changed at all. It's the same. It's the exact same. It's just fascinating though to get to see it in color like that. Really brings that crap to life, man. I mean,
100%.
It makes it so much different.
Yeah, it really does, and the way they were able to read their lips and overdub what they believe they're saying.
Yeah,
it's so well done. I love that document. Have you seen it? Yeah, have you seen it?
It's a cry thing.
Debbie, it's a crier for sure. When they're talking about assaulting the other trench, and the one British guy is describing how the kid went down next to him, he starts crying. Yeah, I know.
And I was like,
and he goes, it was so horrible. I forgot what he said, but I can't. I always have to skip that. I can't. I can't listen to it.
Well, what made me so interested in this particular event is that it'll be a local guy, like somebody local, and then 2, captivity in World War I, which is something I never thought about.
Yeah.
So that I think that will be very fascinating.
The History Underground is doing a series on Verdun right now. 6 Questions says.
I just saw his latest episode on it. He got to go through the bunkers and stuff. They took.
Oh my God!
It looked like they took him through areas that have been roped off to people for a long time.
Probably.
Wow.
I mean,
probably he's a big star.
I mean, listen, the fact that he's getting to go in there though and film it for everybody else to see is freaking cool, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Listen, Verdun. If you, I mean, I've never been to Verdun. I've only ever seen photos and videos of it. But to this day, it looks like the surface of the moon.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, it is
yes.
unbelievable how much destruction. The amount of artillery shells fired at that battle within whatever the initial window is, I think still holds the record. The record for artillery fired in.
I was watching a documentary about that with somebody who will remain nameless, who said to me, wow, I didn't realize how many little lakes and how much water there is over there.
Oh, God.
And I'm like, those aren't lakes. Those aren't ponds. Those are artillery
craters.
Here's
the crazy part about it. When those things would fill up with water and they started using gas in the war, that gas is a powder residue, right? So, like, it settles. and it would settle in that water. So the troops couldn't even use those
to drink
craters
out of.
well, not even to drink. They couldn't use it as cover because if they landed in that water, the gas would reactivate. And you're talking about like mustard gas.
Oh my
You're not
God!
talking about CS.
And you know, some guys accidentally got in
how
there.
they found it.
They knew that.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's awful.
So, 2 more things. Also, pay attention to the Army War College's website. They have a ton of stuff going on for Veterans Day, so please pay attention to their website for some cool events. And then I'm doing this one specifically for Jamie, who's
Okay.
having such a hard time with this particular event for some reason.
Okay.
The Mid-Atlantic African Violet Society show and sale is happening November 4th. She's like, no one likes African violets that much. This has to be a front for something.
What does it look like?
She's like, it's like the movie Witches.
I love Jamie.
What? Nobody likes witches either? Is that?
No, in the movie Witches, they have a convention and some random thing, and they're actually turning children into mice.
Oh yeah.
So she's like, I can't handle this entire event. And so if anyone is going to go to it, can you please message me so that I can prove to Jamie that it's a legit thing?
What was the title of it again?
The Mid-Atlantic African Violet Society Show and Sale.
Violet?
Violet.
What does an African violet look like?
It's a flower.
No, I know it's a flower, but
I thought you were saying violence. At
Oh,
first.
no.
oh, I just typed because you said it as I was typing violet. Oh, it's a little purple thing.
Yeah.
People like that so much that they have a
so-
society, huh?
Yeah, and a sale. A show and a sale.
I've seen these.
And
These
she's just like she can't handle it.
Yeah,
and it cracks me up. So I was like, I'm mentioning it on the show tonight. So people
Jamie
can...
says, beware of the comments.
I love her so much.
I do
She's
too.
not right in the head. So what I think we've all learned from this today is that, if you are coming here for a flower show, we obviously are not used to that. Everything is Civil War here.
You're
that
coming
we
for the
think,
wrong thing.
Yeah, we think that you're
There's
a
something
cult.
going on.
Right, it's a front for something nefarious.
It can't possibly be really about flowers.
I think it's a Scientology convention. And
There you go.
It's not history related. What do we do?
Wait, it's a what convention?
Science.
Oh, they're very litigious.
They've taken over your soundboard.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
Tom
that's all I
Cruise
have.
must be in the walls.
Oh, and tomorrow night is the gala for the Gettysburg Foundation. And there are no more tickets, but please pray for us because it's going to be a long night.
Well, if you're a patron as a first lieutenant, you saw today that I recorded a Spotlight On with Steve Sims.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and it was nice to sit and talk to him about like his life, and he's had a very interesting life. He downplays
really like
it.
him. I really do.
I have to tell you, I like him too. I like the guy, and I'm gonna miss the guy.
I'm really going to miss him.
He has done, I think, a great service to the public by opening up, like, he's aware of all, how did he say it? Well, basically, when you don't give answers, people make them up.
Mm-hmm.
And that ends up being way worse than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I saw a comment came in last night on the video that we did on Little Round Top last week.
Mm-hmm.
And
this the one you were telling me about?
yeah, I think no. It's a new one since then. I forget what that one was, but
what?
it's since then. I think this was last night. It came in, and it was like, typical government project supposed to take a little while, and then it ends up taking 6 years, and must be a union job, and only 6 years, and this, that, and the other thing. 6 years. I'm like, where are you getting your information?
Yeah.
It was always supposed to be 18 to 24 months, and it looks like they're on track. And as he says in the video, if you watch the video, the answer is right there. And the answer is, we are hopeful that we'll be able to open on anniversary weekend.
Yeah.
So that would be basically 24 months. I think they closed on the 5th of July last year.
Mentioned they're doing great work too, man. Like they're preserving it so that people in the future can still enjoy Little Round Top.
Somebody said on there about making things up, or
There was another comment.
That's the one you were.
Yeah, there was another comment that was like, "Oh, you guys are lying, or you guys are making this up. This is fun, or something like that." And I was just like,
okay,
you know, I understand not trusting government. I get that, right? They've given us plenty of reasons not to, but this is the National Park Service,
right? They're not nefarious. They're just trying to do their job.
This is a government entity that's very different from government.
Exactly.
I wish guys could come up to the second floor at the visitor center and just see the amount of crazy stuff that these guys have to put up. Guys and gals have to put up with daily. Just from people who are just like, they don't get it. They think they know better than everybody else. And these people are just trying to do their daily job. Like if somebody came into your work and said those things to you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
How would you feel?
That's the great thing about my work is that no one can. I just don't answer the door.
Exactly. But the thing is, you know, they're not policy makers. They're policy enforcers or administrators. Yeah. And so, like, you know, as Sims or any superintendent enacts something, it's something he's supposed to do because that's what his bosses told him to do.
You have to talk to the Department of the Interior.
Yeah.
Not Steve Sims.
Right. And it's just like, but you know, people need a lightning rod to strike, and I guess that's part of that comes with the territory. That's part of the job, you know.
Yeah, they're people too, guys.
Yeah. I just think it's I don't know. I think, like Colby points out, like the work that they're doing there, I think, look, I had concerns when they closed it because, you know, at the time leading into it, not maybe like the few months leading into it, they started to give us details of what was going to happen. But from the time they announced that it was going to close, which feels like it was maybe like a year or so in advance, or maybe even more.
They gave us a lot of time.
They gave us a lot of time, but they didn't give us a lot of details until last minute. But that's because they didn't know until last minute. And so, but that got me worried. I was like, oh my God, like I was envisioning, I used to joke in live videos and like, yeah, you know, we're going to have, they're going to put plexiglass walls around the pathways so you can still see everything unobstructed, but you just can't go out there. You know, I was kind of saying that as a joke, but I was joking because that was my big fear. Like that, where we would be restricted from accessing it, and we're not. In fact, trails there's more trails now because they said, okay, this is where the public seems to want to go. Like let's formalize it.
That almost looks like a deer path up the southern side of the hill.
Right.
I mean, that's where I would walk up the majority, because I'd come from Devil's Den. I'd walk over between the two round tops, and
that's going to be a former trail now.
Exactly.
But doing that in the past, I'd always be paranoid that I'd be covered in ticks because you're still walking through, you know, a lot of like shrub and stuff. So now the fact that they have that cleared out, you can get over there, you can see the little stone wall that still remains, and like that's cool, man.
Yeah.
You know, they're making it more accessible.
Yeah. For me, it was that Chicken Sharpshooters Monument.
Yeah.
I always wanted to get down to it and
without breaking an ankle.
Right. Without hurting yourself, encountering a snake. Could you even see the path?
You still might encounter a snake.
Well, this is true. But
the national park can't do anything about the snake.
Right. The snakes are there.
But it was like because you were going through tall grass to get to it. Again, the tick problem, and
I'll get you some leather chaps when they open back up, so you don't have to worry about snake bites.
There you go.
No worries.
Knee-high boots.
But now it's a lovely trail.
It's beautiful.
You don't have to climb over boulders.
There's no rocks, and it's just a nice, smooth, firm surface. Yet it feels like you're walking on firm dirt.
Yeah,
you know, and that's a really cool material that they have for it.
Oh, thank you.
Was that your idea?
No, it wasn't my idea. But I happened to be sitting there on the day when they were picking out the color, and I was like, I really like this one, and Randy was like, good, because that's the one we picked. I was like, oh, I'm going to tell people that I picked it.
No, but I think people are going to be pleased with it. And I think it strikes a happy balance between what needed to be done for the integrity of the ground. And I mean, the structural integrity of the ground.
Well, yeah, because you got people climbing all over everything out there, too.
Yeah,
and like,
ruining stone walls.
Sidewalk, where if you would come off the road to get up to that, the New York Monument up there, the sidewalk path was, like, I mean, it was eroding. Like, the ground was coming out from underneath it. There was this huge gap where if you weren't I mean, if you weren't nimble, you weren't getting around. Like you had to go somewhere else to get up to the actual view on Little Round Top.
Yeah.
So it needed it, man.
It absolutely did.
It really did.
And I think people are going to really like it.
I do too.
I really do. And then, in fact, I'm going to see if I can get permission to on opening day go up there and live stream from there and interview people and see what they think about it.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah, because I'm going to particularly look for sourpusses. Be like, well, this isn't the way it used to be, like that type of person. Because I mean, like the 91st Pennsylvania monument there. They put a retaining wall around it and nice ground that you can walk all the way around the monument.
It was falling down the hill. That's why they did that. Yeah.
Now, which one is that? Is that the one out on the rocks past?
It's in front of Hazlitt's Battery.
Mm-hmm.
You say that, but I don't know.
It's the only battery up there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know the monuments here as well as I should for living here.
Well, you'll get there.
Maybe not. I stay in that windowless studio a lot.
But it's a nice thing here. So I think people are going to like it. And you can, if you're a first lieutenant, you can go and watch the session of Steve Sims' Spotlight on now. For everybody else, Spotlight on Steve Sims will come out sometime in probably, I don't know. Well, maybe I'll bump it up ahead and I'll put it out next week since he's leaving. I don't know, but we'll see. And then let's see. Somebody said here, the Lincoln in Gettysburg was a fabulous interview for us patrons. That was with Brad Godfrey. That came out, I think, Monday. And let's see. Hannah Sinene said,
fun to talk to, man. Brad is. I see him all over town.
I just saw him yesterday. Yeah.
Since he interviewed with us about a month ago, I think I've seen him 6 times.
Yeah.
Giving tours.
I love Brad Godfrey.
He's a good guy.
I love having him on.
His map books are incredible too, man.
Yes.
Like without those map books, I'd be lost half the time trying to research the stuff that I do.
Isn't it kind of crazy that it's the same guy?
Yes, because there's a lot of books.
Yeah, I'm always like
coming out with like.
Wait, are you the same Brad Godfrey?
Out with like 3 more too. He's got the Overland Campaign. He's got Second Manassas coming out. There was another one, and I don't want to misspeak here, but I want to say it was like Fredericksburg or something like. He's got like 3 separate map books that are coming out in the future as well.
He must never sleep.
He's the reason the word prolific exists.
Yeah, really. They should call it Godfrey-derific. Okay, that doesn't really roll off the tongue.
It was a nice try, though.
When
Thank
you look
you.
at prolific in the dictionary, his picture's next to it.
Hannah Sinene said, listened today. So thank you for that, Hannah Sinene. And let's see here. Pass still open or have they closed it yet? I don't know what that's referring to. Ghost of Sickles Lake says, today's interview with Steve was great as well. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Steve's podcast was great too, says Hannah Sinene. I took notes. I'm giving comprehensive update on Roundup to my, probably Round Top, to my SUVCW brothers this Saturday. I plan on making the groaning end with our local camp. They need to know we have been in good hands. Amen, Hannah Sinene.
Good work.
Yeah,
work there.
I mean, really, I remember a previous full-time superintendent who'd been there, permanently for a long time, and he had a very adversarial relationship with the public. And I said this to Steve today. I said, that's my experience with superintendents. And so when you agreed to meet with me for a coffee, and then when I invited you to come on the show and you said, yeah, let's do it, I was shocked because I thought you'd be like, well, no, but he came on and he took calls from the listeners and he didn't want to pre-screen anything. He was just like, yeah, I'll take them, whatever.
He took the good with the bad.
He took the good with the bad. And most people were very polite. And I think most people listening appreciated the fact that he would sit and take those questions, right? I appreciated that.
What's respectable about that is he's owning the position, right?
Yes.
He's taking ownership of that position, which you don't see that a lot nowadays. So to see someone in a position where I would say probably 80% of the time, this is a guess, but probably 80% of the time they're dealing with, adverse opinions being thrust upon them or people from the public having complaints that are so outside of his scope or what he can handle, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But still being willing to take the time to explain that to somebody and why they need to do this. And that's respectable, man.
Hannah Sinene says, McNair for superintendent. I like that. That's a good one.
Ben McNair.
And let's see, Adrian Wall addressing Gettysburg. Who will be the new superintendent after Steve Sims? So the current deputy, or is that what they call it, deputy? What's her name?
Christine Heister.
Christine Heister. She is going to take over. I think she can only serve for 90 days, and then they have to find 180. Oh, 180. Oh, okay. Then they have to find somebody else, right?
And last time we went through at least 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Where they found somebody.
5 or 6?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a long time.
I hope they don't.
I have fun information about that when we get off the air.
I mean, why is it
top
so
secret.
difficult for them to find us? Because I would feel like
I know Cam wants to do it.
Yeah.
I'm encouraging him to apply.
I would feel I would feel like though that this was a very coveted position as far as the National Park Service goes. So why is it so hard to get the position filled?
So the last time we had an issue with the previous superintendent, and there was an ethics violation, and there was some investigation.
The ethics violation?
Gifts.
Yeah.
And
they were receiving gifts.
Correct.
Yeah. Got it.
Without putting the paperwork.
But
through.
like big gifts.
Yeah,
like
plane
trips
rides
and stuff.
trips
Yeah.
and stuff. So it wasn't so much, hey, we can't find anyone to fill the position, as it was, hey, we got to get through the DOJ investigation first before we can fill this position.
Oh, interesting.
How in depth is it? So does every candidate have a DOJ investigation conducted on him?
No,
just the one that was getting the kickbacks.
Yes.
Gotcha.
So he wasn't technically. I don't know how to word it correctly.
I mean, I highly doubt you're going to get in trouble for anything you're saying.
No. I'm just trying to think. I don't know what the right terminology is. He wasn't officially removed from position until he was found guilty of doing that. So they couldn't fill the position until that had happened.
Innocent until proven guilty.
Correct.
So he was holding the job, but he was inactive until
Correct.
until the investigation was
correct.
concluded.
And so that's why we had so many in between. I would doubt it would take that long this time. The problem with that is that we're also have a looming government shutdown. If they can't get their act together, then we have several things all in boom, 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 boom. You know,
the political sphere right now is freaking bonkers.
It's ridiculous. Jesse says, as a PA state employee, I get that kind of BS directed at me all the bloody time. So I bet. It's so tough dealing with the public, because you can't please everybody.
And the rumor mill is always gospel.
Oh yeah.
People assume they heard it somewhere and it's the truth.
Well, they want to believe the worst about you. And and it's got to be frustrating. But I think you it comes with the territory, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're going to take the job of superintendent. People are going to be giving you a hard time, and especially with Gettysburg. And I said this to Steve. It's like, people love this place.
Yeah, people.
We are obsessed with it. It makes us.
Well, it's the mecca of battle. So you can say it's the mecca of Civil War history, right here in the United States. But even beyond that, it's like the mecca of military history because, you're right down the road from the Army War College. You're right down the road from D.C. And it seems like no matter what era military history you're talking about, in one way, shape, or form, they all tie into Gettysburg.
Yeah.
The major names for any era of warfare is making their way through Gettysburg on a regular basis. So that it's even beyond the Civil War enthusiasts. It's the military history enthusiasts, right? And then also beyond history enthusiasts. There's so much history here, and it's a special place, and it's our greatest battlefield that we have in North America. I mean, it is the biggest and one of the arguably the best preserved battlefield we have.
And have you ever seen foreign soldiers here studying the battle? Yeah.
Yeah.
People
I was just gonna
from
say,
all over the world.
If you want to see the impact of this place on not only the United States but on the world, work one shift at the Friends Desk at the Visitor Center.
Yeah.
The other day I was down there just talking to them, shooting the shit, and not a single person that came up to the Friends Desk had an American accent. I mean, every single one was from another country, and I was like, wow, it just hits you.
Well,
oh my God, you're traveling that far to come here, and I live here.
It makes me think of the scene in Frasier, where Frasier, his brother, and Daphne are all talking, and they're arguing what Civil War is the best Civil War, and Frasier and Niles both that one of them says one of them talks about the French Revolution. Another one mentions like the War of the Roses or whatever. And then Daphne says the U.S. Civil War, right? So it's like it's weird, but like that war is very interesting to people across the pond. But beyond that, specifically this battle, I mean, you're talking about the most epic battle of the war. Right? It's and all the follow-on thing we were talking about earlier, all the follow-on things that come after the battle that are related as well. Lincoln's address. I mean, that is kids memorize that in school to this day.
Yeah.
It's one of the most iconic speeches ever given. So it's hard to deny how special this place truly is.
It truly is. And so anyway, we wish Steve best in his new venture,
and he better come back and visit. If he's listening right now, you better come back and visit.
Yeah,
or I will kick your
well,
butt.
I told him, I was like, now I'll have a reason to go to Philadelphia. I hate cities.
Not that far away.
It's not that far away.
Somebody
I hate
said
cities,
about
though,
how
and
we mentioned 1776 every time, but I'm going to do it again. Have you ever been to Independence Park? And I said, yes, and walk down the main steps singing all the words from Sit Down, John. Yes.
I may or may not have shed a tear or two standing in that room.
Right?
Yeah.
And worn my Alexander Hamilton shirt.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
We're not nerds. No, we're not.
At all.
Listen, one of the first things Taylor and I did when we moved here, we like to go to New York City every once in a while as like a weekend kind of vacation. And we really enjoy going to Broadway plays. And one of the first things we did was go see Hamilton in New York City. And it was phenomenal.
Yeah, that's what I hear. I've never seen it.
You haven't?
Matt wants to end the show because it's 8 o'clock.
And we're hungry and everything. But yeah, I haven't seen Hamilton. I haven't seen it.
You got to watch it, man.
I'm not a big guy on musical. I'm not big on musicals.
It's not like what you think, though.
No.
Well,
and the hills are alive.
It's not that.
You're thinking that. It's not
yeah.
that.
It's not that. I'm telling you, I'm not a big musical guy. And Taylor was like, please just watch it with me. I've been hearing all this stuff. Dude, within the first 2 minutes, I was like,
sold.
I was on the edge of my seat, mouth wide open. And,
really?
And could not stop watching.
All right. I'll give it a try. I know it's on streaming somewhere. I've seen it there, so I'll do that. All right. Jesse Schaffer, whatever it is. Sorry if I mispronounced it. She says, #Nerds Unite. Exactly. Let's unite all. Let's have a little fun with everything, and we'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow, I'm sure. Many millions of you.
I'm not seeing anyone tomorrow.
I will see you, millions of you, tomorrow at the Seminary Refectory. We'll be doing a live recording of Spotlight On with Pete Mealy and Cody Aish. They're very funny guys. Come on out and see them.
If you see Matt tomorrow, make sure you poke him in the arms because they're probably going to be sore.
That's right. It's tomorrow arm day, right?
Arms.
Looking forward to it. Very good. I am. I like doing the arms. All right. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for watching. We went long tonight. Jeez. But thank you, Bethany. Good job with the news. Thank you, Debbie, for everything. And Chris, I didn't get to you this time, but we'll get to you next time. Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.
Today is produced by Matt Callery and Veronica Breztensky Esquire and broadcasts from the Gettysburg Museum of History Studios. Engineered by Colby Sumner and sometimes someone else. Guest accommodations are provided by the guests themselves. Who are we? Vanderbilts? But if you want us to take better care of them, become a patron at patreon.com/Addressing Gettysburg. I'm Huevos Grande, the voice of Addressing Gettysburg. Thanks for listening.
Whatever do you mean?
Nice.
0.0.
Eric, be quiet! Veronica had a very funny joke today.
Listen to me, you whining little whelp.
Grabbed and pulled and hurt my neck.
I love this podcast.
This concludes our broadcast day.